Okay, take off.
And we are just moments away from the first kick of the 2025 season from Kannapolis, North Carolina at Trojan Stadium. It's the Northwest Cabarrr Trojans hosting game number 1 of the 2025 season. West Cabarrus Wolverines in the 7A class did win the toss at the top. And we are underway. The kick up and over and in the back. Just with the catch is Brendan Williams in for the first possession of the season will be the Trojans. Mark Clemens alongside Claire Geary with you on the coverage for 485 Sports from Cabarrus County. And Mark, this is the moment we've all been waiting for in everything in the build-up to the 2025 season.
Oh, absolutely. And everybody excited. You're going to get a touchback as the player touched into the end zone. That is a rule in North Carolina high school football. You can't, if it gets into the end zone, it's an automatic touchback. So that's why we didn't get a run back on that one. So they'll start at the 20.
Northwest Cabarrus adorned in their orange jerseys with black lettering and black pants. In addition to the black helmets, moving from left to right, 1st and 10 on the 20. The pass coming from Irwin, incomplete on the right side, intended for Josiah McLean, a senior, standing at 6'1", makes it 2nd and 10.
Had a tight window to throw it in. He had a man open out there, but it threw it just a little bit too low and not able to get to it.
Irwin last season posted just over 1,000 yards, 1025 to be exact. Had 11 touchdowns to his name statistically, so had a big breakout season. The snap. Tosses with the lob, pass breakup, intercepted, taken to the house, and it's a quick first touchdown of the game for number 45, Ethan McQueen.
Wow, I guess he got hit, looked like, and it just come knuckling out of there right straight to McQueen, and McQueen returns for the touchdown.
All it took was 2 snaps for the first turnover and a big man touchdown. 11:52 remaining. West up 6-0.
I didn't pick up the amount of yardage on the probably in around the 20-yard range. It was right around the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or 2 back.
So all the signals for the whistle. RP Bettler setting up for the kick on the 5-yard line. The snap placed up and through the wickets. It's a quick 7-0 lead, 11:52 in for this 7A versus now 5A matchup, Mark. On paper, it looked like it was going to be the Trojans running away with it, but a quick jump start for the West is really what starts the punch and puts the Trojans with their backs against the wall.
Yeah, touchdown on the interception, and not a good way to start the season. You have a tough throw in the first play. You get good pressure from the defense on the second play, and on the Northwest sideline, I'm sure they're just saying, hey, we got to calm down. This is one play. This is one touchdown.
All it took was 2 plays, and like you mentioned, settling some of those nerves. Last season had a pretty successful one at that. It was their 3rd season in a row with a winning record, 8-3 overall, and then finished 6-2 in the South Piedmont Conference. But since head coach Eric Moorman has taken over, the first 2 seasons were a little rocky, but has been a turnaround effort since then.
Yeah, they've had solid seasons for Northwest. The roadblock has been J.M. Robinson in conference, and J.M. Robinson last couple of seasons has been somewhat of a juggernaut. And one of the games came down 2 years ago to basically a play on the goal line where the ball was taken away on the goal line, and a couple of just borderline plays was the difference between Northwest and J.M. Robinson. West Cabarrus, the newest school in Cabarrus County, they've had some turnover in coaches. They've never really been able to get any consistency. Coach Jenkins probably maybe their 4th head coach. I'm doing the math at the top of my head, and they were starting to make some progress last year, and then after the penalty, we're going to have it marked back to the 35.
So the kick from Emmanuel Rucker, a senior, one that head coach Eric Mormon is super excited to have. Bettler on the right side bobbles the ball. And breaking through a couple of plays is McLean. He rushes it towards just past the 35-yard line for a first down. So they're already starting a little bit farther than where their initial first kick return was, but it's 11:44 with a 7-0 lead in favor of the West. But you mentioned J.M. Robinson, and they are just kind of the front wall of the conference overall, and really the team that is hard to beat, and rightfully so.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into that too, and some things I don't want to say on the air, but like a year ago, there's a good run off to the right side for Northwest.
1st and 10, and that was Titus Troy with the run on to the right side just past and on the 40-yard line.
For example, a year ago, 5 of the best players for Hickory Ridge during the summertime suddenly show up at J.M. Robinson. So, there's a lot of factors that go into that juggernaut.
Lots of movement overall. 2nd and 5, 11-12 to go. The rush right up the middle to Troy gets put down inside of the middle. On the tackle for the defense is Daniel Hutton, a senior outside linebacker and someone who was named to the Charlotte Observer preseason all-county list, a standout for this defense and someone that they will be continuously relying on game in and game out to defend the front lines.
Big play right here.
3rd down, 4 to go. Pass from Harrison outside to the left hash lines. Caleb Reinhardt gets the first down, and the chain gang moves on. 1st and 10 with 10:31 to go, and Northwest is advancing across the 50-yard line.
Good field position, a good play call. They ran a couple of receivers deeper, and then they dragged a little receiver underneath and found some space because they didn't need a lot. Didn't need a big play. You needed just a nice 6-7 yard gain, and that's exactly what they got.
The snap. Rushed up the middle over to Troy. And a big gain for the first run of the fresh set of downs. 2nd and 5.
Yeah, nice 5-yard run. Got a good opening. It looked like the center and the guard over on the left side both doing a good job of just kicking their men out of the way.
Hudson Irwin, the lead quarterback. A junior only, so he still has one more full year and had a big season last year, was part of a 2-quarterback system. Receives the snap right back to Troy, pushes it up into the middle, and the dog pile leads him just shy of that first down marker, 3rd and some change.
2-down territory here, no doubt. You're too far away from a field goal, but you could take 2 plays to get the first down.
A crucial 3rd down at that, considering it was a pretty tough first 2 snaps for Irwin.
Now flag, and that's going to probably make things a little worse.
The jump on the line, number 99, Caleb Stewart.
So this is going to be offside, so that will be a first down.
Officials mark it as an offsides, and the chain moves, so costly errors from either side, and now within this 30-yard line, you can taste and see the end zone a little more. Still moving from left to right. 9 minutes remaining in this first quarter, 7-0 lead in favor of the Trojans.
So another first down.
Irwin with the snap, drops back, sails the pass out wide into the middle. No one's open, but chasing after it is McLean.
Yeah, McLean trying to sell a hole there. You could see him trying to put his hand out in front and trying to sell that he was being held, but he was just not getting away, and the back judge not buying the pass interference / holding on the defender.
No call. Remains 2nd and 10, 8:46 to go. It was a good effort by Irwin, but just not enough space and power along with hustle. Irwin drops back, scrambles a little bit, getting at his legs And a piece of him is Jonta Harrison on the tackle.
Did have a receiver in the area, so number 85 was standing on the sideline, Shane Lucas Walker, so he was within the area, so you didn't have to throw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. No grounding on the play. And official on the sideline immediately pointed to Shane on the sideline and said, hey, he's receiver in the area.
3rd and 10. The West Cabarrus defense with a very important 3rd down situation. And what looks like still, once again, a little bit of movement by Callum Stewart. And the first time out called by Northwest Cabarrus.
Yeah, I think they were looking to see what was out there and maybe didn't like exactly what play they had called. Big 3rd down. Again, you were still in probably 2-down territory to get the first down. You're inside the 34. From right here, you're looking at about a 51-yard field goal. Not too many guys kicking 51-yard field goals, so it's possible but unlikely.
However, they do have a player such as Owen Mack, who plays for Charlotte Independence Football Club, a local team here in the Charlotte greater area. So he has confidence in his soccer star to try and make some of those longer field goals. But do you test them this early on in the season, especially when this is only your second possession of 2025? 8:39 to go with the clock winding down, 3 and 10, a 7-0 lead in favor of the West. Irwin takes the snap, drops back to that sails wide in the middle and out of reach for Josiah McLean. Forces it into a 4th down situation, but great coverage by Jezediah McCorkle.
Yeah, McCorkle was right with him. And, again, McLean is lobbying with the bag judge, and he'll trot back to the – but at some point you just got to make a play. You can't worry about the officiating out there. And that the throw was thrown a little bit on the wrong side, but he lofted it up and gave him a chance to run to it.
All 3 passes that Irwin has had has favored that left side, still remaining in the middle of the field, 35-yard line to be exact. Chains have not moved. It's 4th and 10. And even if you do have a turnover on downs, this still isn't necessarily a bad position for your defense to take part in.
They're going to take their second timeout. Now you've got 10 yards to go here. You've got a number of different things you can do. They have gone outside and deep with almost every pass except that one little drag that came out that got the first down before. If they've got time, maybe look to see if you get an in cut somewhere in the middle of the field. You don't have to be concerned about turnover here. If you turn it over, it's a turnover. Just don't let them run it to the house. But looking for one of those slots or maybe that outside of the slot to cross and try to get inside in the middle of the field.
And the thing about Mormon is that his coaching staff is very crafty, and they like to be decisive when it comes to their decision-making. It's something that was a crucial part of their playoff experience last year, and curious to see what moment or what decision that Mormon and company make, considering that it's 4th down and they've been favoring that left side, but you could switch it up and push something up the right, considering the run game with Troy has been really strong. 4th down, 10 to go, 8:31, 7-0 lead in favor of the West. 35-yard line. Irwin takes the snap, drops back. Same thing, different story. This time favors the right side. Intercepted.
Yeah, that's one you probably would have been better off to have dropped because you lost 34 yards and with the interception. But the interception.
McCorkle had all of that coverage and saw it on the left side with McLean for 3 out of those 4 downs and read it on the right side like a buck. So it's 1st and 10 and a long way to go for the West, but 2 really crucial turnovers that at least one of them have generated into points on the board.
They're looking right now starting at their own 3-yard line. This limits your playbook. You don't want to do anything risky. You want to make sure you get out of the end zone. The other thing is, though, you could throw one up top.
Jonta Harrison, the quarterback for West this season, finished 24 with 226 passing yards.
And
takes the first snap, but a little bit of laundry thrown for the officials.
Looks like a movement before. Somebody didn't get set or somebody stepped out of their stance. So let's maybe move it back to just inside the 2. No, they're going to pick it up. They're going to pick it up.
And like you mentioned, Mark, that both of these teams really have to settle into what they're used to doing and get back to the rhythm of gameplay. It has been a bit since their last snaps on the field in a game situation. 8:22, 1 first and 10. Harrison with the snap forces himself up the middle and brought down by the dog pile with a yard gain of 4, makes it 2nd and 6.
Just doing a power play with the quarterback. You get yourself some room. You've got it out 5-6 yards pickup. That's a good gain on first down.
The 226 passing yards last season was marked as a school record. He only played in 4 games, but it was still a breakout season nonetheless, and one that won him the starting job for 2025. 7-48 with the clock winding down. Harrison with a laser beam out to the right side. It's a completed pass for number 5, Zach Riddle, the 6-foot junior, standing at 210.
So it gets another 3 yards on the play. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and short. Got a lot of options here. They got plenty on that quarterback power. You might see them just do that again, snap it straight, and just knock your man back. All you need is a yard.
That was Jaden Reed on the receptions. 7:08, 3rd and 1. Harrison drops back. Wide open is Camry McCray, and it's 1st and 10.
Boy, he just zipped that ball out there. That ball was thrown on a rope.
McCray was ready and saw that pass so fast, and especially with the release point from Harrison. That's a lot of the repetitions from preseason practice that have paid off. So it's a fresh set of downs with 6:50 winding down halfway through this first quarter.
So moved it out to the 16. They're getting out off the goal line. Got that little bunch set on the far side.
McCray tosses over.
Oh, trick play.
Hook and ladder just bounces off the front of the grass in front of Tegan Cox. If that would have landed, it would have set the tone for the remainder of the game, considering Cox had wide open space around that 40-yard line, and such a good idea, but just a little short. But they'll call it a complete pass.
Yeah, it was. They ran the jet and ran a pass out of the jet. You don't see that very often, but they ran that bunch set and then they motioned into the bunch.
It was a quick snap at that, so 1st and 10 on the 42-yard line, moving from right to left. West in white uniforms with red bottoms, gray helmets. Harrison with the snap. Another laser beam. This time it's out to Brendan Williams.
So I can pick up about 6, maybe 6 on that play. So just nice and steady.
The pace of play from West has seemed to prove that they kind of have this mojo and not like they have anything to lose. 2nd and 4. Harrison lofts over to the left side, drop steps back, and McCray looks over his opposite shoulder. If he had one extra step on that, it would have been a one-handed grab around the 25-yard line.
Well, there's a blown coverage in the play, and he was running wide open. That was 6 if the ball hangs just a little longer. Pretty good looking throw and play, but again, a blown coverage. Somebody took the inside receiver, and the outside receiver didn't get picked up. I just got a sideline warning for Northwest Cabarrus. The Trojans in their orange jerseys tonight. They'll have to step back just a little bit off the sideline.
Northwest with a notably smaller roster in comparison to the West, about double the size when you look at the two sidelines.
And there's a difference in the school population, too. Yeah.
3rd down with 4th to go. The rush all the way past and just on the 49-yard line. They are in enemy territory. Mark those yards down for Williams. 1st and 10.
Good run off the right side. The offensive line opening up another good hole after we've seen pass, and throw one in there or throw a run in there every now and then just to keep everybody honest.
Kenneth Spencer leading the way on that offensive charge, one of the guards. Harrison takes the snap, fakes it out into the paws of Joseph No man in outside coverage for an incompleted pass, 2nd and 10.
He threw it into a crowd. He may be fortunate that it didn't get on somebody's hand because there were 3 defenders, 1 receiver, and then, like you mentioned, on the outside he had one-on-one. But that little play fake, trying to buy some time, kind of get somebody to freeze, and then threw it hard in the middle.
Keyshawn Barnett, one of the many defensive backs that are going to be heavily relied on this season. 2nd and 10, 5:08 to go in the first quarter. High snap. Harrison's able to grab his fingers on it. All the coverage in the world and mark it down as a yard loss and a big sack for Northwest.
He won't get credit for the sack, but Dom Baker, the freshman defensive back, came on the outside, forced the quarterback inside, and there were waiting tacklers right in the middle of the field. A good scheme for the defense that time.
That was Shree Krosky with the final tackle, but like you mentioned, the defensive backs applying a lot of pressure, and that's part of the core group for Northwest. So it's 3rd down and 21 yards to go. Harrison with a big task, takes the snap, able to reel this one in, drop steps back all the way, and an off-target pass intended for Jaden Joseph makes this 4th down and 21, and they're forced to punt.
That was open play. That was, if he makes an accurate throw, he's got a runner with blockers in front on that screen pass. But he saw that man coming free, and he never really set himself to throw that. He just kind of flipped it out there, and a bad throw turns into a change of possession.
So what felt like West starting to run away with things is squashed as the Northwest defense locks down. Still a 7-0 lead in favor of the Wolverines. The snap, the kick from Mack. And on the reception, charging down the field is McLean. He's past the 50, taking it up the right sideline, 20-yard line, 1st and 10 with the goal line in sight. What a big moment for Northwest, and something that they have needed, especially with the way that their first quarter has gone.
McLean with a good catch. If he doesn't catch that ball, it rolls inside the 20. He catches it. He gets to the sideline. He waited for his blockers. Somebody, I didn't see who it was, but somebody just tattooed one of the Wolverines on the sideline, but the defense from behind was able to catch up. Still great field position. Northwest got the ball with a chance possibly to get the tying points on the board, and they are in the Pizza Hut red zone inside that 20, pizzahut.com.
It's good to say pizzahut.com, especially with Pizza Hut being a main provider for the Trojan Stadium. Tipped pass, great read on the defense by Williams in the middle. Marks it down as incomplete. 2nd and 10 with 4:03 to go.
Looking to go the tight end to the middle of the field.
Ball on the 19-yard line. Anthony Argueta, the center for today, marked down as a captain as well. A senior standing at 5'10". Couple of changes for the receivers. Originally 2 on the near side. Now marks 2 on the far side.
Still got that tight end on the short side. He's the only receiver over there now. They're going to run it, though.
Pass off from Irwin to Troy, but Troy is met by a wall of Wolverines and is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. So now 3rd down. They'll keep the ball at the line of scrimmage. Looked like it moved a little bit farther back, but as long as the referees say otherwise.
Yeah, they give you forward progress wherever the first contact is made, and they start, unless you're running backwards. Northwest Trojan Stadium's a great place, a beautiful place to see a football game, but right now the south end zone is a complete blur because of the setting sun. We're going into the north end zone, so that's not going to be so much.
350. Irwin takes the snap. Bullet outside right hash marks to McLean. 1st and goal. And only a couple of yards away from tying this up.
Yeah, that was a good throw. He stood in there. He had pressure coming off his left side. He took a little bit of a hit at the end, but drilled a bullet right into McLean. That's a first down at the 4-yard line.
Trying to match McLean time and time again, especially in that zone, was unsuccessful with the coverage from McCorkle. This time they connect. First and goal. McLean on the rush up the middle. Brought down with only a couple of yards gained. And it's Norris on the tackle. The sun truly, everybody's trying their best to keep their eyes on the shade, and luckily that's the way things go. McLean is just taking the snaps at this point, and West Reddit takes him down at the line of scrimmage. 2 minutes and some change remaining in quarter one, and it's 3rd and goal.
I guess the end zones here aren't exactly north and south. That must be the southwest goal where the sun is, and we're going into the northwest end zone, right into the scoreboard here at Northwest.
3rd and goal, but even if they don't punch this in, they're at least within a comfortable range to get a field goal attempt, but that is obviously not the goal at hand. 2:21 remaining in quarter one, 7-0 lead in favor of West. Harrison takes the snap. Troy punches it up over the line. Touchdown, Northwest.
Number 8 with the TD run.
Titus Troy with his first touchdown of the season comes at a timely point, especially with the way that this first quarter started off. With 2 minutes to go, it's got to feel good to finally get your first points on the scoreboard.
19-yard drive. Took about 2 minutes and 7 seconds off the clock.
For the extra kick, or for the point after attempt, is Mack up and in through the field goal post. It is tied at 7-all with 2:10 remaining in this first quarter at Northwest High School.
Really nice job. The holder, I believe, is number 12 on that one. Chase, no, check that. But anyway, the holder on that play, the ball hit the ground. He got it back up in a kickable position and got the extra point. That may be the backup quarterback, Scaranco.
Srianko, I think, is how we agreed to that.
You're better pronunciation than I am. That's that mountain pronunciation there on my part.
Some of these are tough, and then others not so much, but we play on. So it's tied at 7 apiece off of a fumble recovery for a big man touchdown with the West on the second play of the game. Took Northwest some time to settle in, but eventually got there and had a traditional TD with Troy punching it in for the touchdown.
Well, don't forget, today we'll be looking at some scores from across the area, a number of games going on. That'll be on our Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard. Home of free delivery, CannonPharmacies.com. 7-7, late first quarter.
Good start to things, and Owen Mack, with all of the kicking responsibilities, makes sense for the soccer player on the team. Motions his hand down, kicks with his right foot, and launches it in the backfield for the catch for Northwest. Takes off with a juke move is Rodriguez Harrison. A couple of helmets lost in some
and then somebody just
roughness
popped him right
in the middle.
Let's see, there may be an ejection on this one. Helmet came off. Northwest player just popped the man right in the face after the play. Let's see what the call is.
That was Cage Abdul-Allah, who lost his helmet in the scrum. So all of the officials meeting in the middle to talk things over.
I tell you what, man, if your helmet pops off, you ought to keep your mouth shut, because he just got popped right in the face.
Other side of the field. No, JC's in. Oh, I thought you said Casey.
Let's see what the call is from the officials there. Personal foul against Northwest Cabarrus.
No player mentioned on that,
He punched him in the face. When the helmet came off, something was said. He walked up to the man and just hit him right in the face.
It's the second helmet that the West have lost. So,
yeah, that young man's probably not going to be happy when they replay that film and they see that Of course, it's stupid to say something when your helmet's off. He probably deserved a fat lip.
There's still a lot of game left to be played.
That penalty brought it all the way out to the 48.
It's a 15-yard penalty, so what was originally around the 20-something yard line, now at the 48-yard line. Officials breaking fairly quickly. Daniel Hutton with the snap. Harrison snags it. Rush up the middle by Carpenter. And it's 2nd and 5.
Baker got his shoulder on him, almost spun away from him. Baker hit the ground trying to just dive at his feet, was able to knock him off balance.
1:45 tied at 7 apiece. Things are getting chippy as the sun starts to set in Kannapolis. Harrison with the snap, right back out to Carpenter and rushing it up the middle towards the right side gap for a first down.
Good second effort. Caleb Bryant made contact right at the line of scrimmage, maybe slightly behind, and he was able to spin off of that and able to push the pile forward.
Just shy of the first down with 3rd and 1.
So it picks up a good solid 3 yards after being contacted right at the line of scrimmage. The old yak.
2 receivers to the right, 1 on the left. Harrison waits for his pecking orders. Brendan Williams on his left. 1 clap. Harrison hits the gap, adds an additional couple of yards to it, and he's down at the 29-yard line. 1st and 10 West.
Really good solid run there. But it was 3rd and 1. He gets about, 11?
11 yards gained on the play, and what's really important about West is that they have a brand new head coach. Matt Jenkins is in his first season, had prior stops from Huff High School in Cornelius, and then was the defensive coordinator at Concord for several years. So that's really how Cabarrus County is familiar with Coach Jenkins. But so far, so good in his season debut. Carpenter back on the rush, splits the left 2 defenders for a gain of 6 yards, 2nd and 4.
Yeah, Carpenter doing a good job. He came to the line of scrimmage, made just a good sharp cut to the left, and was able to pick up a good solid, what looks like 6-yard run.
Just shy of the 25-yard line. Mark it down as number 24. 16 seconds remaining in the first quarter. So everybody slowing down with West and trotting off to the sidelines as Camry McCray tied at 7 apiece as we wind down, and the end of the first quarter is here. What an exciting opening first quarter of many for the 2025 season. 7-all between Northwest and West. You're listening to 485 Sports on Radio Free Cabarrus.
Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by BenMinded.com, your hometown drugstore, Cannon Pharmacy, Wilkinson Funeral Home by the Carolina Pizza Huts, Cabarrus County's newspaper, the Independent Tribune, that's independenttribune.com, the Carolina Renaissance Festival, and the Southern Christmas Show. Again, those are the sponsors for tonight's football game. And, of course, our Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard, 1 score so far, and that's the one we've got right here. 7-7 Northwest Cabarrus versus West Cabarrus. Opening play from probably second play from scrimmage, I believe, and pass interception, return for about a 20-yard touchdown. It stayed 7-7 till late in the quarter, and then Northwest Cabarrus able to get great field position after a punt return from McLean. Set them up at the 19-yard line a couple plays later, able to punch the ball into the end zone. 7-7 our score as we head to the second quarter.
It was a great pass breakup for the West, considering that there was a little bit of a mix-up as to who was receiving that pass, and all it took was one hand on the ball and an extra to pick it up.
Now West driving deep into Northwest territory. As we switch ends, they're going into that scoreboard end of the Trojan Stadium. That's the open end of the horseshoe.
So now the sun finally sets. Now West moving from left to right in the middle of the hash marks. Harrison takes the snap, drops back, on target throw, but just way too much power for McCray to grab a hold of it. 2nd and 10.
McCray never saw the ball and looked like he was going to get past the defender, but I don't know that he saw the ball. Not enough air under the throw either, and just an incompletion. But
3-2 Mike. 3-2 Mike. 3-2 Mike.
Have a player running off late for West Cabarrus.
Sounds of the whistle.
Timeout.
And
West
it's another
Cabarrus.
timeout called, but this time West.
It's Northwest. I'm
Northwest
sorry.
burns an additional timeout with 11:56, 7-7. This is now the 3rd total timeout that Northwest has called, and it just feels like there's a little bit of a miscommunication between the defensive coverage and what's really being needed to accomplish.
Yeah, they've had a little bit of communication issues, looks like, in the secondary, and you don't want to have that one come up.
You're still having to work through a lot of things, though. It's only the first game of the season. You have the home field advantage, and you're tied. So it's like as if nothing were really going on. 11:56 with 3rd down and 4 to go.
Well, I can tell you, every one of those coaches they don't care if it's early season. They want to win and do as well as they can to start with.
You'd like to start on a high note. This season, Northwest Cabarrus having 10 returning starters, 30 returning lettermen. So as the timeout comes to an end, Harrison and company resume their positions back on the field. Takes the snap. Harrison gets met in the middle by the defenders and tackled with a couple of yards gained, make it 1, and it's 4th and 3 to go.
Northwest did a good job. They just stacked it up. There was nowhere for the quarterback to go as he kind of veered off to the left.
That was Miranda on the coverage. Helps lead the front line and really the anchor point for the defensive line for Northwest this season.
A little slow getting the play in from the sideline, and West Cabarrus will burn a timeout.
2nd timeout in this quarter early on. West Cabarrus having to talk things over for the first time, and especially with 4th down and you're within field goal territory. They've been able to make really big yard gains, specifically by Harrison, but now that somewhat of that is known by the defensive coverage, what's the move to make to try and get those couple of last yards to make it a fresh set of downs?
Well, I like the play that Northwest ran. Run just a little slant route out of the backfield. You don't have to get many yards. Run those guys deep. Give them a hard play fake. Let the tight end just slip out and dump it to him for a short gain. Now, that being said, the defense knows that too, and they're going to try to hold the tight end up on the line of scrimmage too, knowing that.
No need to get cute when it's only 3 yards. 11:19 remaining in the first half. Tied at 7 apiece.
And it looks like they are lining up for a field goal.
So a change of plans.
That is a 43-yard field goal attempt, slight left to right angle.
Brooks Genio, the hold. The snap low. Genio gets a piece of it. Up and through the wickets. It's a long one, but mark it down. RP Bettler makes this a 10-7 lead for the West.
43-yard field goal. I thought somebody might get a hand on it. It came out low, but it went through the pipes.
Came through low, but it was just far enough in reach for Genio to get a good place. So even though they were short on the 4th down, the confidence in Bettler prevailed. 10-7 lead in favor of the West, and has not been the best go of things for Northwest Cabarrus, but still a lot of game left to be played, and if there's any time to turn things around, it's especially true when you have a lot of time left on the clock in the second quarter.
Yeah, early second quarter, a lot of football to be played here. 3 points. Now, if 3 points beat you, you probably have left some other plays on the field.
A couple of other plays being left on the field have turned into opportune moments for the West. So just as Bettler makes those additional points. He steps back for the kick.
We're not strong enough to do that.
So Bettler with the kick.
Barnett on the right side for the coverage. McLean on the left. Bettler sails it into the sky. McLean makes the catch, goes down the field, loses the ball, and it's recovered by Northwest. A miraculous play at that. Norris takes off running from left to right, gets brought down at the 35-yard line, and that's a big sigh of relief considering we've already seen big turnover plays and Norris coming in clutch.
That was crazy. The ball was stripped. There was a Wolverine laying right there on the ground, and somehow it bounced back. I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
It looked to see as if Jaden Fowler was in the area ready on that recovery, but Norris was miraculously there at the most perfect time. So what could have been another turnover, marked it down as potentially number 3, is now a 1st and 10 situation for Northwest. 11:04, 10-7 in favor of the West. It's a dog pile and the whistles are blown.
Oh.
And a late tackle by Caleb Stewart draws the flags.
That was an iffy call. They should have blown the whistle quicker. They didn't, and just about the time the whistle is blowing, 99 jumps on top of the pile.
Just a little too late on the moment, but
well, he never really jumped on top of anybody. No, they're gonna call it on 99. So that is Callum Stewart, the senior defensive lineman. You know, they want 12 men in the team picture for the tackle, but sometimes you gotta have a little bit better restraint.
So Northwest has an additional 10 yards and a fresh set of downs. 10:56, 10-7 in favor of the West on the 49-yard line, driving downfield on the right side hash marks. Irwin takes the snap, drops back, looks towards his left. McLean with a leaping catch, 1st and 10 in front of the student section on the 25-yard line.
Tremendous play. McLean, he's battling with the defender. The defender has a piece of his arm. He takes his arm and just knocks it away, puts 2 hands on it, and grips it for the big reception inside the Pizza Hut red zone. Time for pizza, pizzahut.com.
Anytime is a great time for pizza at that, so it's 1st and 10 on the 16-yard line. Big play. Irwin takes the snap, drops back, looks towards his left. McLean keeps his eyes on the ball as the pass sails long and is incomplete.
I tell you what, McLean and McCorkle are having an absolute battle out there. McCorkle had both hands, one on each shoulder pad, as he was trying to put coverage up on McLean. So 1 versus 1, and that's a big battle today.
It's been his go-to receiver time and time again. We haven't really said anybody else's names as Northwest motions for a different play. 16-yard line, 2nd and 10. The snap, Irwin this time hands it off to Troy, met in the middle by Stewart for the takedown, only gains a couple of yards on it, and there's additional flags being thrown. Stewart gets in the face of Carpenter as they trail off, and once again, there's a little bit of a scrum on the field.
Now, as the crow flies, I don't know what the distance is between these two schools, but it's probably less than 5 miles. Straight down Kannapolis Parkway, you hook a left on Weddington Road, and you're right there at West Cabarrus.
An opening rivalry is always a way to set the tone for the season.
I'll give you a little story about the kicker for West Cabarrus, the freshman, R.P. Bettler. Bettler's brother, Trey Bettler, worked with us at Radio Free Cabarrus and 485 Sports for 3 years, I believe. They're doing some broadcasts at West Cabarrus. He did a number of games here at Northwest Cabarrus, but he's at the University of Missouri and doing a lot of sportscasting out in Columbia, Missouri. But his big brother used to work with us. Now his little brother's on the football field.
Mizzou does have a great J school, so it's 2nd and 10. They'll call personal misconducts on either side,
So,
so they negate each other.
Yep. So you get a big third down coming.
So
Inside the Pizza Hut red zone, it's time to eat here. You got to feed that offense. See if those big guys up front can knock somebody down. They're going to bring a tight end on to swap out a little bit bigger tight end for a smaller guy.
Shane Lucas Walker, to be exact, the East Carolina commit. He's only a sophomore, so he's got a lot of time to grow. Swaps out for Keyshawn Barnett on the left side of the offensive line. Irwin.
Got 5 on the play clock. Dead ball. That's
Irwin.
5-yard penalty.
Delay of game for Northwest is this now makes it a 3rd and 15 situation.
See, Northwest has no timeouts left. They burned all their timeouts, so they couldn't do anything to stop it.
Burnt 2 out of the 3 timeouts in quarter number 1. So 3rd and 15. The ball now on the 22nd yard line.
We're still play clock winded down to 6 seconds. Looks like they got the play, but it's 3-2.
Irwin takes the snap with only 1 second remaining on the clock. Tosses it. No man in coverage. Double coverage for the West on the receivers. Makes it 4th down and 15.
Let's see if they have a field goal attempt here. Looks like they're running on a small guy. Let's see if is he a kicker or no.
Owen Mack
Owen
does
Mack is
go
out there.
but it's Irwin who remains on the field to hold the kick. So a little bit of a dual role by the quarterback.
37-yard attempt, pretty straight away. Ooh.
The snap. Irwin gets a good placement on it, but Mack had his kick touched.
Yeah, somebody got a hand on it, but the play up was blown dead. The right side of West Cabarrus team jumped offside. So it's going to be a 5-yard mark off against West, and they'll get a chance to re-kick a little bit closer.
Still a 4th down situation.
Yeah, still 4th and long. It's still a full 10 yards to go.
So the offsides by West gives a couple of extra yards of cushion. Still the same situation with Irwin holding the kick or holding the placement. It's up, down, Mack through the uprights, and it's now a 10-10 tied ball game with 9:21 remaining in quarter number 2.
So swapping field goals, 10-10. Hey, let's take a look at our Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard. Perry Gabriel and James Alverson both jumping in with some interesting scores for us. Down in Charlotte, early second quarter, Charlotte Catholic 15, South Mex 7. Catholic had a 75-yard kickoff return when the score was 7-2. Again, Perry throwing us a couple of scores here. Barbara Scotia and Pop Warner All-Stars, no game. I'm not going to read what else he said about that one. Porter Ridge 14, Kannapolis 7. That's the battle up, I believe, at Memorial Stadium tonight. Weddington 3, the Mooresville Blue Devils nothing. And, again, that's Cannon Pharmacy, home of free delivery, cannonpharmacies.com.
9:21 remaining in the first half, tied at 10 apiece. West with that big play turned an inopportune moment for Northwest into points with only the second play of the game. So it's a tied ball game, both teams trading touchdowns and field goal attempts, both successful.
The score really indicates how close these two teams seem very, very closely matched.
Knowing the results of last season, considering the West were 5-6, isn't necessarily how they thought things would play out. McCray on the reception takes it for a couple of yards just past the 25-yard line. Starts this on 1st and 10 on the 29.
We got 9:15 left in the second quarter. Both teams have been able to move the ball in the middle of the field.
It's been a lot of middle of the field moments. I've only seen a lot of work from either the left or the right side of the gridiron, specifically from Northwest, but they've had a lot of more opportunities and possessions rather than West, who have been really creative with their drives. Harrison hands the ball off, and he's brought down by a group of guys. Carpenter on the reception, but smart moves by number 21, Josiah Mitchell, on the outside.
Yeah, Mitchell looked like he knew what the play was. He was almost there for the handoff.
So that's a loss of yards on the play. 2nd down and 14 with 8:50 to go.
Goes in the books as a TFL, tackle for loss.
Harrison takes the snap, drops back, a low pass, bounces off the front of the chest protector for Flynn VR, and it's 3rd and 14.
Yeah, that's one you got to catch. He put it on the receiver. Did a little bit of a double clutch. You wonder when you do that double clutch if you throw just a second late, there's somebody going down the sideline, so you might want to look at that later in the game.
West moving from left to right on the near side hash marks. 3rd down and 15.
They're bringing a man
Harrison
late.
Scrambles, gets met by a solid tackle by Jaden Reed. And the defense coming in clutch for Northwest. 3 and out for the West.
I think they maybe lost another yard there, too.
And what we were talking about earlier, Mark, is the fact that Northwest was having a lot of defensive miscommunication. Seems as if they've ironed some of those kinks out midway through this 2nd quarter with just about 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, Norris came on a blitz. I'm not sure if he's a linebacker or a safety, but he came late. He had a pretty much uncontested trip that forced the quarterback to scramble and then right into the teeth of the defense.
So that forces the kicking team to make their appearance out on the field. The ball bounces up and over the head of McLean, and he lets it roll away.
Yeah, he called fair catch and then decided not to catch it. Got out of the way. I tell you what, I like to see guys catch the ball. Now, if the ball's knuckling and you're a little indecisive, at least he got out of the way of it.
Well, in a situation like McLean, who has been on the kick return side of things, trying to prevent fumbles, especially with just how creative Norris got in that unique situation, you'd rather just let it bounce than take the risk, especially with how many different times they've been so close with those turnovers. 7:38 to go, tied at 10 apiece. Northwest with their first possession. It's a pass, or it's a rush by Troy. Gains a couple of yards on the play. 2nd and 7.
That's a really good 3-yard run. He got hit, bounced off about 3 guys, and just kept football wrapped up and kept going forward.
Irwin with Troy. Right behind him, McLean on his left.
At the Northwest defense down underneath the tent looking.
Irwin takes a couple of extra looks. Quick pass on the lateral for Troy. Forward movement, but loses yards where the line of scrimmage was at.
That play could have gone for something. He kind of juggled it. He had to kind of hesitate. If he's able to catch it clean and run hard, it probably turns into positive yards. But, the timing of the play is thrown off when you don't catch it clean.
Took a quick look over towards his right, and that's what forced Troy to be on the reception of it, considering McLean was in double coverage. 10-10 with 6:21 to go. 3rd down and 7. Irwin takes the snap, drops back, looks towards his right. Breaking and moving forward is Nate Jones, who can't get all of his fingers around the ball, and it's trading back and forth of 3 and outs for either side.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was right in his hands. He made a good break in front of the defender and a nice throw. You really hate to see a play like that, which probably would have picked up the first down.
So both sides of defensive work coming into play between either team. The kick up and over the heads of the line. Making the catch is Sean Williams, who gets met at the 35-yard line, and it's a smackdown by number 44 for the Trojans. Emmanuel Rucker was all over that.
Actually, I think that's Basinger that may have made the play on that one, number 6. Weight room showed up on that one. He latched on, that hand strength, the power in his legs. He just lifted that guy, put him to the ground.
A little bit of a wrestling move at that on top of it. Let's see something like that in like a WWE SmackDown moment. 1st and 10, 6:04 to go. West
Good field position out across the 35.
on the 35-yard line. Harrison had a good look towards McCray, but it's just a little too far out of reach with an incomplete pass on the near side.
But team's passing games seem to be just a tick off.
There's been a lot of incomplete passes, and they've just been really short or just a little too long. And getting a feel for how these plays are coming out, especially against a different defense other than the ones that you've been seeing. Sure, scrimmages make a difference, but that's really not accurate to gameplay and being underneath the lights. 6 to be exact. 6 minutes left on the clock, tied at 10 apiece. West with Harrison. He's in the scramble, breaks through a couple of men, but still brought down for a loss of yards. 3rd and 11.
Yeah, that's a good job there. He got flushed out, and somebody in the middle of the line just latched on and would not let him escape. He looked right, then looked back to the middle of the field, and once he did that, the pressure was there. Northwest doing a good job of pressuring the quarterback.
Tyree Crudup was on the coverage for that with the tackle. And it's 3rd and 11. Ball on the 35-yard line, moving from left to right. And an obvious offside move by Crudup.
You're trying to get a head start. The right tackle stands up and is retreating into pass protection. So you know you had a pass play coming or a draw. So now you, with the penalty.
So Crudup fell for it, but the people to strike first was West. So 5 yards lost now makes this 3rd down and 16 to go. Ball on the 30-yard line. 5:15 remaining in the second quarter. Harrison had to jump high for the snap and lost the ball. And now a couple of extra hands getting into him popping up, and flags are thrown.
And that may wipe out a good play for Northwest. We'll see if it's automatic. It was dead ball, personal foul against Northwest Cabarrus. Yeah, the players are seeing him get up like he's going to run, and that's a tough break. And
it's a tough break as Crudup was the one who was in the scramble.
You wonder on the field too, how quick was that whistle? Did you hear a whistle? So it's not going to be an automatic first down, is it? So it's still going to be punt. The 15-yarder will still be 4th down. It was a dead ball.
What was originally going to be 4th and long is now 4th down with 8 yards to go, and the kicking team makes their way out onto the field.
The center snapped the ball before the quarterback was ready and hit him right in the face mask.
Yeah. Just a little too quick on the snap as the clock winds down. West calls their second timeout of the second quarter with 4:38 remaining in the first half. Still tied at 10 apiece, and they want to talk things over for potentially trying to capitalize on the mental mistake and just getting a little too excited for this Northwest defense. And if you're the West, is it worth taking the risk, especially when you're tied just about to head into halftime?
Well, you had no, you're not going to do anything right here. You're just going to kick the ball away Try to make sure that you get a good cover on this. If you don't make it here, you would make Northwest have a very short field. Remember, Northwest has no timeouts left. So if you kick it deep, make them use that field without timeout. Now, it looks like punt formation is coming. Don't forget, coming up in just a few moments, we've got the BenMinded.com halftime report. Home of the BenMinded limited lifetime warranty covering engines, transmissions, and drive systems. BenMinded.com to find out all the details.
Hey, now is not the time. We talk about that later. That's a Sunday meeting.
So the kicking team still stays out on the field. McCray.
Ooh.
Mack launches it. Bounces off the 45-yard line onto the right side, just in front of the Northwest bench.
Kashawn Samuels thought about going over and getting that loose ball. McLean runs over to him, grabs him, and pulls him back away. And of course, they're yelling poison, they're yelling Peter, they're yelling, but whatever, when the ball's like that, you're supposed to get away from the ball, Let
it bounce as far as you can. So there's as many yards as they can have to go down the field. 4:37 tied at 10 apiece. Northwest and West Cabarrus with game 1 of the 2025 season here in Kannapolis. 1st and 10 on the 36-yard line. Northwest driving from right to left. Irwin takes the snap, hands it off to Troy. Gains 3 yards on the play. 2nd and 7.
The last 3 possessions have been punts. One by Northwest, a couple by West Cabarrus.
Trading sides back and forth. Irwin hands it off into the middle in a smart drive, met by number 59 of West. Nathan Honeycutt makes the tackle.
Honeycutt got that Luke Keekley number 59.
And the quick snap draws the flag. Irwin had the right idea, and his men were ready to go, but the defensive line was not set at all. Potentially on that carry was going to be Troy. So now Shane Lucas Walker making his way out onto the field in place of Chase Smith.
A lot of discussion going on with the officials here.
It was a very fast snap, but the decision.
Well, looks like they're going to mark it off against North. Well.
So there was a false start by Northwest, but there was also another foul had by the West, so they cancel each other out, and we stay where we are at. 3rd down and 2 to go, 3:47 remaining in this first half, tied at 7 apiece. Shane Lucas Walker is subbed back out for Chase Smith, so OC thought differently.
Yeah, you got a guy out there with an ineligible number, so he's probably coming in to block.
On the 44-yard line, up the middle with some space. It's a 1st down plus some. Great moment for Northwest and solid movement by Kashawn Samuels.
Samuels just following his blockers, makes one cut and gets up the field. That's what you like to see. Now they're going to bring the receiving tight end and the blocking tight end out. 85 for 57.
Smith and Lucas Walker going off hand in hand. 1st and 10 with 3:13 to go on the 37-yard line.
Now we got whistles, and I haven't seen a flag yet, but I'm sure there's one somewhere.
Another flag as the fanfare is loud and proud. The band doing what they do best. It's Hawaiian night for Northwest student section, but West also came out in full force. Both student sections making the trip, and the West band as well having their time.
On our Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard, not going well for Brandon Gentry out at Hickory Ridge in his debut. At halftime, Providence 21, Hickory Ridge nothing. That game being played over at Providence today.
A snap to Irwin with the handoff to Behringer. Up the left side with
Nifty.
2nd and 12.
Nifty little move. He sidestepped one, sidestepped a second, going the other direction, and then up the field.
That was Samuels once again on the carry. So a loss of 5 yards after that flag from a false start.
Now, McLean's got a different man covering him right now. I don't know if Northwest sees that, but I'm looking to go down the field with this.
It's Kaderick Lewis on the coverage to McLean. And McLean wide open, grabs the ball at the 40-yard line, tackled at the 35 by number 12, VR Flynn. And
Yep.
it's 3rd and some change.
Kaderick Lewis had the coverage, and he was playing off, and they took what they were given, and that sets them up in a good 3rd down situation, 3rd and short. Now they've switched back to the
McCorkle.
So
and
yeah,
McLean
you got
matchup.
this. Yeah, this is the matchup they want. This is the matchup West Cabarrus wants, and they are crowding the line of scrimmage. He's almost offside.
3rd and 2. Irwin takes the snap. Samuels up the left side, breaks through a couple of tackles, and it's 1st and 10. Northwest is driving and stringing together a couple of plays.
Anthony Argaretta just pancaked somebody right in the middle, springing them for that 1st down run.
On the 29-yard line on the left side hash lines, Irwin drop steps back, lofts it over the middle,
Yeah.
and they'll call
Yeah, it's a flag. Handed the
pass
back.
pass interference on the left side with that McCorkle and McLean matchup. And those flags thrown around the 5-yard line.
Be a 15-yard penalty, so not a spot foul when it's beyond 15. McLean was breaking toward the post. He was open. The ball was overthrown. But McCorkle looked like he was kind of slipping a little bit and knew he was going to lose him. Put a hand right in his lower back and just pushed him to the ground. It made it an easy call for the official. He's looking straight back at him. So a big 15-yard penalty and another 1st down. And that's going to take him inside the Pizza Hut red zone. Hey, if you're looking for something to eat right now, pizzahut.com. They got delivery all over Concord and Kannapolis.
The thing about Pizza Hut is they are very creative with what kind of pizzas they release. So 1st and 10 inside of the red zone. Irwin with the snap, drop steps back, looks towards his right, has an open receiver, wide coverage in the right side of the end zone.
Wow.
Touchdown for Shane Lucas Walker, and Northwest regains the lead 16-10 with 1:08 remaining in the 1st half.
That was a heck of a throw. He has men all around him. He got one man to jump. He's about to be tackled, and we saw the arm strength. He saw the defender that it was about the pylon. The receiver was near the back pylon, and he zipped it to that back corner for the touchdown.
Great play for Shane Lucas Walker as it's up and in for the Trojans. A 17-10 lead over the rivals, only 5 miles away. And it's Shane Lucas Walker who gets the touchdown belt with his teammates.
That is a tremendous play because he pump fakes one man in the air, and after he pump fakes, there's a man coming right at him. He's going to go down, but before he sees the man down in the corner, and he didn't have a good form on it, but man, what a strong arm, able to get it toward the back corner for the touchdown, and that's a smart play, a good job for the receiver finding the spot to get open.
Great job by Irwin to wait that extra second with the pump fake. Everybody was fooled on it when you have your secondary coverage with the defense, and that gave the chance for Lucas Walker to shy his way into the right corner of the end zone.
So 17-10 as we approach halftime. Again, don't forget benminded.com halftime report coming up. We'll give you a quick recap on this one. Maybe listen in, hear the band a little bit here. We'll see what's going on here at halftime.
Owen Mack right back out for the kick. Up and into the paws of McCray. McCray with the
Touchback.
catch, and he'll mark down for the touchback.
Yeah, you saw the same play we saw on the opening kickoff. Is he's reaching back, that back foot steps across the goal line, and when he touches down in the goal line, that is an automatic touchback.
Great kick by Mack, though, considering the placement of it all. Has to take those few additional steps back to force said touchback. So it's 1st and 10, 17-10. Now the West, for the first time this game, trailing to Northwest. Brings Harrison and the offensive team out onto the field.
Got one timeout, so you still got that in your hip pocket if you want to try to go down the field.
Harrison drop steps back after the snap. Pass intended for McCray, but it was a little too fast, and he didn't get around to catch it in time for an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, looked like he threw between two receivers. Tegan Cox, number 17, was open on the outside, and I think if he hits Tegan, he gets him, but he threw to the inside receiver, and the inside receiver did not have as much space.
A great opening half of play from West, but Northwest having a pretty timely drive and shed a lot of time off the clock. Harrison drop steps back. It's a low pass across, breaking through with lots of green in front of him is Noah Carpenter. The shovel pass works out in favor of the West, and both teams having to break apart once again. Now probably the 3rd or 4th time we've seen either of these two teams get chippy. And
flag on the field all the way back about near the line of scrimmage. I didn't see it at the moment, but if you see on the far side of the field, there's a flag.
So the far side official saw something because it doesn't match with the near side official.
And it looks like
Harrison is talking things over, and
it's going to take. They're going to take the play back.
Take the play back.
Okay, let's see what. Oh, I didn't see what the signal was. Ineligible receiver downfield. Tap the top of the head. That's what happens sometimes when you get that little check down. They may have been trying to run a screen, and then the screen kind of got farther up the field. When he threw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage, then those linemen have to, they can't be downfield.
Right.
If the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, then they can get downfield.
So the ineligible receiver turns what was a really heads-up type of play into a loss of yards. So it's 2nd and long.
Was this the reverse Pizza Hut red zone?
Reverse Pizza Hut red zone. I would say that's probably Little Caesars or something along those lines.
No. Don't go there.
33 seconds remaining in this first half. Harrison drop steps back, scrambles, looks for a man, gets shoved down, throws the ball just in time.
Let's see, it should be a grounding.
But all over that was Dom Baker.
Either that or you can't allow that guy just to sling it to the sideline like that. Now they throw the flag.
And that was the flag after the play for an intentional grounding.
I'm guessing that somebody went over there and said, hey, is there a receiver there? And there's no receiver there.
So back-to-back penalties puts West on the 1-yard line with 99 yards in front of him. 26 seconds remaining in this first half in what has been a pretty dominant West storyline thus far. Northwest has changed the plot line with a beautiful pass between Irwin to Shane Lucas to regain the lead, 17-10.
Well, Northwest Cabarrus is doing a good job of getting pressure on the quarterback.
3rd and 29 yards to be exact on the 1st-yard line. Harrison waits for his pecking orders. 12 seconds on the clock. Moving over towards his left side is Jaden Joseph. Harrison takes the snap, drop steps back, laser beam out to Brendan Williams. Tackled just shy of the original yard lines, but once again, the yellow flags up and down in the air. Feels like there's just been a lot of mistakes being had regardless of what side it's been, but heavily as of this drive being from the West.
You got a lot of emotion here. That's part of what the penalties are. face mask. That's going to add on. West just trying to make a play, make a safe play. That time they throw it out. Let's see if we can get a man, break a tackle, spring something. They got a break there by putting a man in a one-on-one situation, and they get the penalty and get the first down with 18 seconds left and one timeout.
What a turn of events, considering it was 3rd and 29. It is now 1st and 10, and a costly mistake for Northwest when they were knocking on the door of a safety.
Now look at the depth of the defensive backs for Northwest Cabarrr. So trying to keep everything in front.
Ball on the 35-yard line. McLean out near the 47. Harrison drop steps back. Coverage out into the middle. A little too low for Williams' liking, and the pressure from the secondary makes this 2nd and 10 with 14 seconds to go. 17-10 lead in favor of Northwest, and the West Wolverines catch their break.
Claire, you were working with the ACC Network last night up in Blacksburg. While you were working with the ACC Network, a similar situation. I think we had 17 seconds, something like that, left in the half. The Pittsburgh Steelers go back, and they ran past the safety for a big play and got a field goal at the end of the half.
Not a bad move by the Yinzers. Harrison has the pressure applied, forces the ball down. At least there was a man in the area. McCray.
I don't buy that. I think that's a grounding. And Coach Mormon's saying the same thing.
There's no flag being thrown, though.
They're talking about it.
Norris was applying the pressure.
Looks like they're going to just say, okay, well, let's get into halftime. Now they're going to throw it.
Now the intentional grounding comes, and it's also the first week of the season for all of these officials, so they're getting back into things as well.
They did a good job of communicating. There was no way in the world there's a receiver in the area, and I saw two guys run into the area late trying to see if they could make it look like they were there. There was one man came running across the field to try to get over there, but he was on the opposite side of the tackle box when the ball was thrown. Yeah, the guy that West would contend was the receiver in the area, was 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, and the ball was thrown 7 or 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
So the intentional grounding turns this into a 3rd and long situation once again. First time Northwest gave them the break, but
yeah, you want to try
once bitten, twice shy.
You want to try about the same play. Put somebody in a position where see if they can make a play. If not, just go into halftime.
Harrison with the pass, or with the rush to Jaden Joseph, and a big tackle made by number 22, Malachi Norris, remains at the end of this first half, comes to a close. 17-10 in favor of Northwest. A beautiful connection between Irwin and Lucas Walker to give that lead in the mid-second quarter point mark. It's been a lot of back and forth between these two teams. One team figured out their mojo and were really connecting, and then all of a sudden Northwest seemed to get into their groove and have not had an answer with the Wolverines since then.
Yeah, I think both teams are looking for consistency, and right now we saw early on, some communication issues in the secondary for Northwest Cabarrus. They seem to have ironed those out. We've got a really, really good battle on the outside with two outstanding players in Jedediah McCorkle for West Cabarrus and Zaharia McLean for Northwest Cabarrus. And that's been a real dogfight, DB versus wide receiver. We're probably going to see more of that battle in the second half. We saw them find a couple of mismatches, and we saw a penalty late against McCorkle, which helped lead to the last Northwest touchdown. But the other thing that you wonder about in a game like this, it's a hot, steamy night, maybe not as bad as we've had some. We have yet to see a lot of the injury timeouts for cramps, and both teams are going to make sure they get hydrated when they get back in the locker room. But that's something that in the second half we'll see if that happens. So far, we haven't seen that at all. That speaks well to the conditioning of both these two teams.
And on top of that, it's also ideal conditions to play in. We've had a really hot, wet, and muggy summer from the start of June all the way to probably 10 days or so. And having that just big sigh of relief of not being in the 100s when it feels like temperature really makes the difference. And when you train in such temperatures with two-a-days. It's really forcing you to have all of those strengths come into fruition when you have ideal conditions to play in, as it is a 17-10 lead in favor of Northwest Cabarrus County. The Trojans were truly forcing themselves downfield and figured out their groove midway through that second quarter. Meanwhile, the West has capitalized on costly mistakes from the opposing team.
Yeah, 17-10 here at halftime. Northwest Cabarrus able to kind of rebound a little bit. They had they burned, I think, 3 timeouts in the first quarter. That's just almost unheard of. But it didn't wind up hurting them. They didn't wind up making any big mistakes. And, again, here we are at halftime with a 17-10 score. And, again, we've got a lot of football left in this one. Very interesting. Got another crew tonight is over at Concord, Mount Pleasant versus Concord. James Redmellick and Chris Hudson on the call on that one on the NFHS network. And again, if you're joining us, you're seeing this audio-only broadcast on YouTube. The full video broadcast of the game is on the NFHS network. You can pick that one out along with hundreds of other games being played across the country, across the Carolinas. And again, we're bringing you the audio version here from Northwest Cabarrus on YouTube, and trying to stream our as far as our audio over to the Pixelot and the video as well. It'll be a Pixelot only broadcast over at Concord as they take on Mount Pleasant. But again, we'll go to the Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard and more. We'll get a good recap, but first we're going to take a break, get us something to drink, and we'll be ready to continue with the BenMinot.com halftime report. Northwest Cabarrus 17, West Cabarrus 10.
17-10 lead in favor of Northwest Trojans. The first week of the season in Kannapolis, hosting the West Cabarrus Wolverines. Claire Geary alongside Mark Plemons, bringing you the BenMinot.com halftime reports. And man, has there been a lot of action to get to this point. First possession of the game was for Northwest, but on the second drive overall turned into a fumble recovery and the big man touchdown that West capitalized on for a quick 7-0 start in that first quarter. And then after a couple of misplays, Northwest was able to respond. McLean with a pretty clean touchdown reception in the right side corner from Irwin's pass, tied it at 7 apiece. Going into the second quarter, it was a trade of either team from field goal attempts, both of their kickers getting extra work done, but the go-ahead touchdown for the lead midway through frame number 2 was the connection between Irwin and Shane Lucas Walker on the right corner of the end zone. A 19-yard touchdown pass for the junior quarterback with Northwest made it to the 17-10 ball game. And after a really interesting first half, a lot of teams figuring out what they need to do communication-wise, ironing out some of the wrinkles overall. It's been back and forth, and Northwest was forcing West to make some costly mistakes on top of all of that. So, with that being said, there's just about 3 minutes left to go, but the scoring summary overall brought to you by BenMinot.com halftime report, home of the Ben Minot Limited lifetime warranty covering engine, transmission, and drive systems. That's pretty important considering that's how you get from point A to point B. But lots of action going on across Cabarrus County. We have a couple of groups of broadcasts going on throughout the region. Originally winning the toss at the pregame coverage was West, so they elected to receive the ball second, so they will start off this second half with possession. Both teams coming back onto the field, but the McLean-McCorkle matchup this evening has really been the story of the night, considering that receiver defensive back coverage. The moment that McCorkle wasn't assigned to McLean on the near side hash lines is when they gave up a couple of big yards, and that turned into a first down for Northwest, and immediately right back on him was McCorkle. Time and time again, they're covering each other in timely fashion, but McLean has been the one on the better end of that coverage as we are just under a minute away. 17-10 in favor of the Northwest Trojans from Kannapolis, North Carolina, at Trojan Stadium for week number 1 of the 2025 North Carolina high school sports football season. And the sunset setting in the back, orange to blue, a beautiful look at that. Pretty packed house from either side, only two teams that are about 5 miles apart. As for the West, they have a brand new head coach. Matt Jenkins is in his first season, shying over from Hugh after spending some time there, but is mainly known for his time as an assistant in Concord. Is matched up against the number 2 team in the preseason rankings, Northwest. Eric Mormon, who has been such a seasoned head coach, has 3 winning seasons in a row out of the 5 that he has completed with the Trojans, as both teams retreat back to their sidelines. West will start with the ball as they won the coin toss at the top of the game. 17-10 heading into quarter number 3. Been a fun one thus far. And Mark, what do you anticipate from either of these two teams making adjustments from halftime?
We'll see what kind of adjustments they make. I'd imagine you're going to try to see both teams try to establish a little bit more of a run. Northwest got a couple of good runs in their last drive that helped set up some of those plays that they got. They after they ran a couple times, they were able to get at least one mismatch in the passing game when McCorkle did not match up with McLean. So that you may see some more of that. Realistically, West Cabarrus hit on a trick play that should have been a touchdown early. They wind up only getting about 25 yards out of a play that was a 70-yard play because the ball was underthrown. So they may have a few more trickerations up their sleeve. We'll see what goes from here. But again, but the quarterbacks, got to be patient. Got to stand in there. I thought late in the half, the West Cabarrus quarterback just was not as composed as he was earlier in the game, and they need to find that for West Cabarrus if they're going to have a better second half.
The defense surely got inside of the head of Harrison, Jonta Harrison to be exact. And with the kick to get things started for the second half of play is Owen Mack for the Trojans. Gives a thumbs up to either side of his team, motions his arm down, and we are underway for the second half of play. The kick short, bounces right in front of McCray, and he runs it up the middle, gets tackled and quite literally flipped over a man, but trots off as if nothing happened. 1st and 10 for the West, 11:55 on the clock for the start of quarter number 3.
Late Soupy Campbell used to tell us that the kickoff line to delineate is the 25. If the ball begins inside the 25, the kickoff team has won. If it's outside the 25, the kick return team has won. Put that in a win for West Cabarrus. And again, Soupy, a longtime teacher and coach here at Northwest Cabarrus. And,
1st and 10 on the 28-yard line, and it's a big rush up the left side hash marks. Great gain by Jaden Joseph on the move. And there's a man down for Northwest.
Yeah, I hope I'm not being Nostradamus when I said it talks about the cramps in the second half, but it looks like that's our first.
Pretty perfect playing conditions overall, but you have to stay warm in order to keep those muscles loose, and the training staff, coverage, and support make their way out onto the field. Some of that support brought to you by Charlotte and their physical training program.
Yeah, they got a number of people in that training program working through Atrium Health. Atrium Health providing all the training throughout most of the Metrolina area here, Cabarrus County for sure, most of Charlotte.
So that was a 34-yard gain for Jaden Joseph on that coverage. And getting up with a little bit of assistance, but still underneath his own power, is Malachi Norris. And Norris was pretty influential off of that unique recovery of the fumble, but just as much as he was underneath his own power, he is now being assisted out by the Atrium Health staff members, a little weak on his left side. We always hope that every student athlete goes home unscathed, but injuries happen, and unfortunately you have to make do with those decisions, and the next man up has to answer that call. So Norris helped off the field as Harrison and the offensive team make their way back out to the line of scrimmage.
Looks like they're treating it like it's a cramp just from the outside looking in. We'll see what happens when they get to the sideline. But good field position to start the second play of this drive at the 44-yard line.
1st and 10 on the 44, right back to Johnson. And they were able to pick that one up as he's dragged back down not once but twice by the defense. And lots of guys getting up off of the ground for that. Coming out of the dog pile was Barnett leading the charge.
Got 1 yard on the play. They're being fairly charitable. He got thrown back, though, so after the 45. Jonta Harrison gets his pecking orders from the OC.
Joseph switches to his left side. Harrison drop steps back, shies all the way over to his right, way overthrown as Tegan Cox was wide open. Just a little too much gas on the pass, makes this 3rd and 9.
Almost looked like he didn't expect that ball to be thrown that far. He was not running hard when that ball sailed over his head. And there was some miscommunications there. I think they thought it was going to be thrown short to number 4.
McCray also had a good look at things, but 10 minutes and 50 seconds to go with 3rd down and 9 yards in front of the West offense.
Northwest keeping a safety pretty high here. They're giving them a lot of room. Now, first time out of the half for West Cabarrus.
And rather than Northwest calling their first time out pretty quickly in the opening moments of this game, Mark, it is now West who wants to take their time to think things through, and both of these coaches burning those timeouts fairly fast in consideration to how much gameplay is left ahead of them. And especially when you're down by 1, you have to be a good decision maker when you spend those, especially because it's 3rd down. If you don't necessarily get it, you can still kick it and hope that you have it just shy of that touchback situation. But for the West, it's 3rd and 9. They had a good yard gain in that first drive, but have since been stopped considering they've been able to read Joseph.
Yeah, you've got good field position right now. You don't want to waste that field position, so you want to make sure you get a good play here to try to get it down the field. You've got a lot of options as to what you can do. If you're down on the 20-yard line, you don't have as many options. 45-yard line, you can open up the playbook.
3rd and 9, 10:50 to go. West moving from left to right in the middle of the field. Harrison drop steps back, takes the snap, and an overthrown pass intended for Rodriguez Harrison.
They were getting cute on that one. They sent motion out of the backfield, sent that man orbiting back toward the sideline, trying to draw the attention, and there was a defensive tackle that was right there in the middle of the play. That play was going nowhere even if they caught it. As they threw back inside to almost like a little inside screen. Too much window dressing.
That was crude. That was screwed up on that pass breakup coverage. Now it's 4th and 9 with the kicking team out. Launched into the air by R.P. Bettler. And the catch dragged out off the sidelines into the West bench around the 35-yard line. Makes it 1st and 10 with 10:37 for Northwest's first possession of the second half.
Northwest Cabarrus defense has started to assert themselves. The last 4 possessions for West Cabarrus: punt, end of half, punt.
Forcing those 3 and outs, they've really settled into their roles, especially with a pretty jarring start to the game, giving up that opening touchdown from either side, and have since found their groove. Ball placed on the 30-yard line. Irwin takes the snap. Troy gets the ball with the faked pass. Troy runs up the right side of the field, gets past the first down marker, and is dragged down by number 32, Jackson Mertz, on the tackle. 1st and 10, ball on the 43.
Good solid dozen yards on the pickup. And now we've got another cramp. Yeah, so another cramp. I told you I told you watch for this. Yeah, I did jinx it.
You jinxed it, Mark.
Not a single cramp in the first half, right. And we're not even 2 minutes into the half, and we're already cramping.
A-okay. Sometimes those things happen. You can't have a completely clean game now, can you? Especially first game of the season.
Yeah, we shouldn't have jinxed us like that.
It's all right. There's worse things to jinx, I guess. I mean, but still, it's player health, so that's pretty bad.
But you're not going to get me to say a no-hitter.
Luckily, I've never had to say those words, but I have watched teams blow them, specifically the Cleveland Guardians, who just most recently did that against the New York Mets. A very sad way of losing, or not losing a game, but going with a no-hitter of giving up a home run that bounced off the top of the center field wall. But nonetheless, things happen, and they still got the win.
2 players down on that. We got 1 player for West Cabarrus who's working off, and now a player coming up from Northwest. On our Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard, you mentioned the New York Mets. They're down at Truist Field in Georgia, and they're leading the Atlanta Braves 7-2 at the end of the 4th inning. Also, actually 9:04 left in the 3rd quarter. Charlotte Catholic 30, South Mecklenburg 7. Our broadcaster and coach friend Jay Alverson down there coaching on the sidelines for South Meck, and I'm sure he was hoping for better there. Perry Gabriel checking in with us on the Cannon scoreboard, and he says West Rowan 6, North Rowan nothing. We don't know the time frame on that one. Porter Ridge 31, A.L. Brown 7. Again, Cannon Pharmacy, home of free delivery.
10:27, 1st and 10 on the 47-yard line. Irwin hands it off. It's pushed up the middle. Chasing towards that end zone is number 29. Just shy. Great big yard gain, number 26, Kayshawn Samuels. Solid work with his legs. 1st and goal brings us to the Pizza Hut red zone. Anytime is a great time for pizza. Order now at pizzahut.com. Northwest blows open the barn doors, and they're knocking on it. 10:07, 1st and goal for Northwest. Irwin takes the snap right back off to Samuels. He finds a hole between the defensive line, but not too far on the yard gain.
Unofficially, 41 yards on the carry. Actually, it's more than that, 51 yards.
It's hard to do math in your head while you're also yapping at the same time,
Well,
I've learned.
10 to 50 is 40 and not 30. Yeah, I should have known that one.
9:30 to go in quarter number 3. 2nd and goal. The motion over. Irwin takes the snap. Hands off to Zach Riddle. Finds green territory. Just kisses over the edge of the line. Touchdown Northwest. 23-10. And now a 2-score lead for the home team.
Establish the run.
And the run is what has worked for them consistently. They've gotten a little crafty with passes, but utilizing those running backs and tight ends has really been effective for Northwest. So Irwin stays out to hold the ball, and Owen Mack with the extra point up and through the field goal post makes this a 24-10 lead in favor of the Trojans.
9:16 left. And that was a quick drive. The 51-yard run unofficially. They ran a little crisscross in the backfield. One runner runs in front of the quarterback. The defender, one of the defenders went with that man and took that fake, and he just handed it off to Samuels. Samuels did a good job. He found the hole. He ran to daylight. I was wondering if he could get just kicking in another little gear, but he never quite had it, and they got him before he got to the end zone.
Samuels has the wheels, and he turns them on with that big yard gain. Like you said, just about 51 yards that he had. 9:16, and it's a 24-10 lead. Now a 2-score difference between the two rivals.
Now, of course, if this were soccer, this would be 2-0.
2-0. It was a 4-0
I always
result.
throw that out because people complain about soccer being so
Frilly.
low scoring. So it'd be
I mean,
3.5 to 1.5.
like you mentioned earlier, I was with the ACC Network last night, and Virginia Tech women's soccer beat Clemson 4-0. The kick return brought in by McCray, who takes off running, is brought down at just past the 35-yard line on the 36. A fresh set of downs and a new possession after going 3 and out fairly quickly for the West. Want to keep their neck in this one, but have fallen short the last 3 possessions and looking to turn things around, considering they're now down by 2 scores with just over 9 minutes remaining in quarter number 3.
Got to establish something. Get a little bit of rhythm going. Don't panic yet. The worst thing you can do is panic, get in a hurry, trying to do too much. There's no 14-point play.
Harrison definitely had the confidence when they originally had the lead, but has since tried to figure it out. The snap goes high and up over the head. Crashing on top of it is Joseph. So the recovery made, no type of turnover, but still a big loss of yards from just a silly mistake by the center, Peyton Walker.
Yeah, that's the second snap issue we've had today. One, we saw the quarterback get hit in the face with the snap when he wasn't ready for it. When you get behind the chains, particularly this amount, where are we at, 30 all the way back to inside the 20. So you're looking second and 22.
Second down and 25 on the 18-yard line. Harrison had the snap but lost it in his paws and gets a little bit tied up with the defensive line. Cassie Behringer in that conversation.
That may have been a low snap that time. Now you got to, if you're the center, you got to split the difference. Hit him right between the numbers. You've had one high, you've had one low.
Still 25 yards to go for a first down, so it's 3rd and long. 2 missed snaps by the center, number 55, Daniel Hutton. Uncharacteristic mistakes for the senior leader. Harrison gets a clean snap finally for the first time in 3 tries. Lands the numbers towards number 17, but it's intercepted by McLean. What a clean catch, and it's a turnover. And Northwest is all over it.
Harrison had a man in his face. He had to arc the ball up. He threw it up for grabs. McLean played back. He made sure nobody got behind him, and then he played the high point of the ball. And of course, he's a receiver, and he puts that foot just inside the sideline, and that is a big, big turnover.
And the matchup with Tegan Cox, he was just that half step back and didn't turn his shoulders in fast enough. So the McCorkle-McLean matchup seems to have ended, as it's Cox who was on that coverage, and it was a costly mistake. So
Cox was the receiver. Cox was the receiver on that play, but McLean turned it into an offensive play for Northwest by stealing it.
So 1st and 10 on the 48-yard line. Northwest having great field position after that McLean interception.
Trickeration.
Another trick play. McLean with the pass. Interceptions back to back. And now West regains possession of the ball. It was Brendan Williams with the catch. Number 21, Kaderick Lewis.
Well, that's
one way to do it.
Yeah. I like taking a chance, but if I'm throwing the ball downfield, I want my quarterback throwing it, not because the play was open, but he threw it 10 yards short.
Threw it 10 yards short.
And he probably can't throw the ball 45 yards in the air like that. Their quarterback would have easily thrown it downfield. Of course, he wouldn't have been that wide open either, but
would have made a little bit of a different decision, but back-to-back interceptions. Now West once again has the ball. Harrison fakes the pass off, and it's McCray on the reception.
Good throw and catch. Again, there's not a 14-point play. You get 8 yards on first down. Nothing wrong with that. You get 8 yards every play, you're right back in the ball game.
Forward movement is especially important for this West team, who have found themselves in 3rd and long situations time and time again. 2nd down is a very crucial point, especially for Harrison. On his left is Joseph. Joseph looks back. McCray fires after the snap, tossing down the field towards number 11, Brendan Williams, in the area, but out on the coverage in the backfield is Cassie Behringer with pretty good pass coverage overall.
You can take that big shot because you got short down in distance. It looks like West Cabarrus has completely abandoned the run. and they don't even have a man in the backfield except the quarterback now. Let's see if it's just a quarterback power try to get the first down.
Harrison motions for the snap. He's got 2 trips to his right, 1 on his left. Ball on the 27-yard line. 3rd down, 2 to go. 6:47 remain in the 3rd quarter. Harrison rushes it up the middle. 1st down for the West.
He's been their best runner today. He hadn't run much, but you know, you felt like you got a good chance to get 2 yards the way that lined up.
Found the gap between the defensive linemen and split the pair. So it's a fresh set of downs. Ball on the 33-yard line. 6:30 remaining in quarter number 3. Joseph on his right side hip, in addition to 2 receivers on the same side, 1 on the left. The motion out, and it'll be a false start against the West.
And see, that sets you behind the change, 1st down.
Penalties have been such a point of contingency
it has.
for this West team. It feels like once they get 1 clean drive, the moment that they finally get that little piece back, they set themselves back. Take 1 step forward, 2 steps back every single time. And the West haven't been able to string anything together since that first couple of minutes in the 1st quarter. So it's 6 minutes and counting down on the 28-yard line, 1st and 15. Harrison takes the snap, drop steps back. Long pass out into the middle, just off the top of the fingertips of McCray around the 50-yard line for an incomplete pass. 2nd and 15.
McCray's got to catch that ball. That's a beautiful throw. That could have been 6, and you know, I don't know if the quarterback can throw that ball any better.
Harrison's frustrated by that and had the big sigh on his shoulders. Knew that was probably his best throw of the night thus far from the slot.
Still just 2nd down and 15, though. You don't have to have 15 yards on this play. Get something positive if you're West. Now, if you're Northwest, Cabarrus, you know, keep them in front of you. Don't let them have a big play.
Straw motions towards the left. Harrison drop steps back, and right inside of his face is Samuels with the sack.
Looked like he was shot out of a cannon. Just a little bit of a delayed blitz, and that just little hesitation, and he had a crease straight to the quarterback.
And all of the receivers had defenders matched right up with them, hence why Harrison didn't release the ball nearly as fast as he was intending. And like you mentioned, they haven't really been relying on the run game, but just as much as that run game hasn't been working, neither has some of these pass option plays, and there hasn't really been an answer for just how great this defensive team for Northwest has been. So it's 3rd and long on what appears to be the 16-yard line. Harrison takes the snap, shoots it on the left side, just bounces off the palms of Williams, and it's 4th down.
Had 3 receivers to the right, had 1 receiver to the left, doing the double coverage, and even if he catches that ball, he is still 20 yards from a first down. I don't understand where you're going with that one.
Tough situations all the way around.
But he's wanting to get rid of the ball quick because Northwest pass rush and their front 7 has eliminated running, and they have put pressure on the quarterback, and that just
2 sacks to none.
It gets in the quarterback's head a little bit too.
Especially when he's already been taken down once, right? So that's marked down the second sack.
He's thinking, I've got to get rid of this quick. And so maybe the first place he looks, first place he threw.
RP Petler with the punt. Sails it just past the 50-yard line. McLean catches it in the tips of his fingers, runs it towards the 40-yard line, is brought down by number 56.
Block in the back.
Hunter Koblock, but the flags are thrown, and there's a block in the backfield by the officials.
I believe it's going to be a block in the back, and so they'll take him back 10 from looks like the 43-yard line.
So what was originally great field position is now behind and in their own 43.
Hey, mark your calendars. The Southern Christmas Show is coming. It won't be hot weather forever. November 13th through the 23rd. Park Expo Center in Charlotte.
Are we really? Christmas is so crazy to think about that we are under 6 months away from the jolliest time of the year.
They called him for target. Was that a target? 15-yard penalty instead of a 10-yard penalty, I believe.
That is indeed the case, is what was originally on that
Blind side.
45-yard line is now being put back on their own 45. 48 to be exact. 4:48 remaining, 24-10 in favor of the Trojans.
Huzzah. Carolina Renaissance Festival. Hey, that's coming up this fall again. Got some more changes and lots of good things going on. Pardon me. You can get all the details. RenFestInfo.com. Opening weekend, October 4th and 5th. That's the Carolina Renaissance Festival right out there straddling the Cabarrus and Mecklenburg County lines in Huntersville.
Have you ever been?
I have been many, many times.
Interesting.
Many
been.
times.
My sister went once in Dayton, Ohio with a friend of hers from college, but I've never experienced a Renaissance Festival.
Yeah,
in my life.
we'll have you some tickets. So, yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah,
I'll mark it
yeah.
down on my calendar. 1st and 10 after a targeting call. So what was originally in the 40-yard region in enemy territory is now on the 48 or on the 43rd-yard line for Northwest. 1st and 10, 4:48 to go. Ball on the 42.
Well, McLean's been good in the punt return game, hadn't he? He's had 2 big returns. That one got called back, but they set up the first score with that punt return.
Toss of the pigskin to number 4, Don Baker, as he has a moment for a good carry.
Northwest got a bunch of little scat backs out there. You got Riddle out there. You got Baker out there. Baker, I think, is just a freshman. And then Samuels has looked really good today.
37-7 for Catholics, end of the third quarter. A pretty big lead over there. Brought to you by Ben Minot.
Got a score coming in from Concord. We'll tell you that one in just a moment.
The handoff right back.
Let's
But
see
there's laundry thrown onto the field. A couple of yards gained by Baker.
This is either going to be a hold or a face mask. We'll see. I think it may be a face mask. At Concord, Spiders 16, Tigers 7. That's Concord 16, Mount Pleasant 7 on your Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard. Official's going to talk about this one. They're going to pick up the flag.
They're waving it off. So
I think when the way he slung him around, it looked like there might have been an infraction. When they got to talking about it, I didn't see anything, so they pick up the flag, and that's good. I didn't see an actual face mask. I did see the action that looks like a face mask.
well, nonetheless, it's 2nd and 10 with 3:55 to go in the third quarter. 24-10 in favor of Northwest.
McCorkle looked like he was expecting a deep route coming from McLean as he was bailing out even before we got ready to snap the ball.
Lots of whistles, but no flags. So just making sure everybody's on the same page, I guess, as the official picks the ball up and puts it right back down on the 48-yard line.
It's 2nd down now.
West driving from right to left. Irwin takes the snap, hustles over towards his right side, slings it to Keyshawn Samuels, who takes off towards the end zone, but flags on the field will send this one back. A great play and connection between Irwin and Barnett, but some foul play, and the flags thrown will send this one back.
In the direction of Nate Jones, and Nate Jones just buried a Wolverine in the secondary. It looked like it was going to be a tackle made, and all of a sudden Jones just buried a guy. Now, I don't know if it was blindside, holding, or maybe the guy grabbed Jones. Texas. We'll see what the call is. The way Northwest has reacted, it looks like it's going to be. And Trey just texted me, you guys at Northwest tonight?
Trey.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, Trey, we've been talking about your brother. Now we talked about you too. It is against Northwest. Blocking a back or a hold. It's still a first down.
First down from the point where
Tells you how big a play that was, yeah.
it was. Regardless, the chains move. And Northwest, once again, inches closer towards the end zone. 3:10 left to go. 1st and 10 on the 33-yard line. Irwin has Samuels on his right side. Barnett motions to the left. Handoff to Samuels. Bounces off the defenders. Hushes over towards the left side. Big gain on the play, but his knee is down. And however, he lost the ball.
Oh, he lost the ball. Wow.
And Caleb Stewart says otherwise. They'll call that a turnover, and West with the recovery.
So West stays alive as Northwest Cabarrus drives and then fumbles.
It's the second fumble we've seen on this side of the field. That would have been first and goal for Northwest, and you got to keep your hands on the ball, but great work by Callum Stewart to try and force that out of his paws.
I was just getting ready to say McLean did a good job of letting go so he didn't get a holding penalty.
Right.
Then the next thing you know, the ball's loose.
So Harrison and the offense make their way back out onto the field. Another high snap once again, but the handoff read so well, and on that defensive coverage is Barnett with the rush.
They call that meat at the football. They just went straight to the mesh point. Timing was thrown off by the snap, and there were 3 orange jerseys by the time the quarterback handed the ball off, just waiting to pounce.
Just jumping at the bit time and time again has worked so well for this Northwest defense, and they've made the West pay a couple of times. So it's 2nd and 14. Harrison takes the snap with a long pass right inside of the hands of Jaden Reed, but he can't keep a grip on it. Slips through his fingertips. 3rd and long.
I don't, the quarterback is looking. He looked to the sky with his head back, kind of tilted his head back like, what do I got to do? He got dumped. Harrison got dumped, but he made a perfect throw, and his 5 in the hands. And we've seen two drops here in the second half that could have gone for big plays, and you can't give up that many big plays that would have gone your way.
Harrison's had a lot of passes that have been on target to his receivers, but they've just been a half step off or can't make the connection. Harrison takes the snap just past McLean, and he didn't drop step back at all to try and get, once again, another interception. However, in the area was number 5, Jaden Reed, once again. An incomplete pass makes this 4th down, and the kicking team comes out.
Reed heard footsteps, broke off his route, and the ball, I think if McLean thought he was going to continue to go for the ball, he probably, or if he knew he was going to stop, he probably would have come and picked it off. But instead, he's tracking the receiver. So now McLean's still going to be on the West Cabarrus side of the 50 to get this punt.
But it's because they're on the 14-yard line of their own. It's 4th down with 15 with 2:06 remaining in quarter number 3, 24-10 in favor of Northwest, as a timeout called by West Cabarrus County. The Wolverines wanting to talk things over, spend their 2nd timeout, leaving 1 remaining with only a couple of minutes left, and then the entire 4th quarter ahead of them.
I never really liked the name of West Cabarrus. It's right. It's slapped. You could about put a pin right in the middle of Cabarrus County, and that's where West Cabarrus is. And there were a bunch of names, and school board kind of copped out on West Cabarrus. Oh, we got all these other directional schools. Well, I mean, at the time, Central Cabarrus was Central. Northwest Cabarrus still is kind of Northwest, but
directions are hard sometimes, and also going with the directional things, and can't just go with the city name apparently.
Well, I mean, the city name's already taken because Concord.
That's true.
Concord's got a team. Mount Pleasant's got a team. Folks in Harrisburg wanted it to the school out there to be called, but Harrisburg, but it wound up being Hickory Ridge.
A-OK, as it's 4:15.
And Cox Mill is actually in the Cox Mill community, so they actually got that one right.
Just like the MAC, you have East, West, and Central. So the kick is high. McLean snags it on the 41-yard line, hugs over towards the right side, gives a stiff arm to the defender, pops off the helmet of Cage Abdul-Allah. And there's, again, another scruffle and a helmet loss for the West, but no flags are thrown.
they could have easily flagged that. There was no call for him to push the Trojan player. But if Trojan player pushed back earlier in the game, they flagged him. They I don't know why they didn't flag that one, but maybe they heard what was being said. Maybe he said, "Get out of my way, I need to get my helmet."
24-10, Northwest regains possession in a very prime area of the field. They're on the 34-yard line, moving from right to left.
Nobody's covering McLean right at the moment.
McLean is wide open on the left side. Nobody is even motioning towards that quite yet.
Now they see it.
Now someone sees it. That's Harrison who shies over, so a different matchup than what we've traditionally seen.
Play fake and go to McLean.
5 seconds left. Irwin takes the snap, hands it off to Troy, rushes it up the right side of the line, gains a couple of yards on the play. It's 2nd and 8.
Nice conservative call that time, but you stay positive. Maybe you hit the play fake this time. Hand it off one more time or pull it out of the belly and see if McLean can just run right past.
Barnett and McLean on the left, one receiver on the right. Irwin with a man on his hip. Quick motion by Shane Lucas Walker. Five seconds as it ticks down. Irwin changes his plan, takes the snap. Fake handoff to Troy. Shane Lucas Walker with the reception. Runs it up the right sideline and is tackled out of play. Gains 4 yards on the play. It's 3rd and 5.
6'4", 235-pound sophomore tight end, and you saw the size and the strength right there. That was a no gainer, and he turns it into 4 yards.
50 seconds winding down as we come to the final moments of the third quarter. 24-10 in favor of Northwest Cabarrus. 3rd and 6 on the 29-yard line. Northwest is comfortably hanging on to the ball and drawing things out. They still probably have a snap or two to go with the time remaining on the clock. Irwin takes the snap low, gets a hold of it. Shane Lucas Walker on the opposite side makes the catch, but immediately matched and dragged down is Caleb Reinhardt on the tackle.
And Reinhardt got up and let everybody know he was quite happy about the tackle.
Fired up.
4th down and 8.
Especially if Reinhardt didn't have that coverage and wasn't right there at the right time, that would have been a first yard plus some. So as we hit the 0 marks on the third quarter, it is 24-10 in favor of Northwest, and they hang on to the ball as they flip sides. You're listening to 485 Sports on Radio Free Cabarrus. And Mark, it's just been such an eventful first half, and since then, the Trojans really took halftime to collect themselves and play fundamental football with lockdown defense, and they've prevailed time and time again, leaving West scoreless thus far, especially in that third quarter when they were pretty good in either frame for the first half.
Front seven for Northwest Cabarrus is played very well. There were a few gaffes in the secondary early in the game. They've looked like they've corrected that for the most part, but on the flip side, West Cabarrus, your receivers have got to catch the ball. Pitch and catch. We saw two throws across the middle that hit the receiver in the hand, in stride, that could have been 50-yard plays, could have been 70-yard plays. And you're looking right now, a 14-point ball game. You catch one of those, it's a one-score game.
Catch one of those, but on top of that, you have to play clean football, and there's been so many times where they've had a really solid drive with a couple of extra yards on top of gaining a first down, and then they've just kicked themselves in the butt and sent themselves back 15, 20, even 29 yards at one point for 3rd and long situations, and they haven't been ideal. So it's 4th and 8, and Northwest Cabarrus being crafty this time around. Owen Mack trying a long field goal.
Say this is 48. It's between the 38 and the 39 where they're going to put it down.
Irwin places the ball. Mack up and over, but a couple of fingertips are able to deflect the ball, and the point and the field goal is no good. Score still remains 24-10, an even 2-score lead for the Trojans. No time even was shaved off the clock.
Yeah, it should have been some time off the clock. When the ball was snapped, it should have been time running, but they follow the official. When the official brings that hand down, then that clock starts, and perhaps they didn't see it.
Sometimes these things happen, but
What kills me is you go some places and they will run the clock during the extra point.
it's not necessarily how football works, but
No, it's not.
we all learn, and eventually the score comes to a final one way or another. So it's still a fresh final 12 minutes remaining in this game. West assumes the position as it's technically a turnover on downs. Takes the snap. He had two men out to his right. The pass out was literally in the hands of Jaden Joseph and slips through the palms, bounces off the front of his foot, shaves 2 seconds off, and it's another incomplete pass intended for a receiver.
I have a really bad temper, and if I were the quarterback, I'm going to take those receivers by the face mask, and I'm going to tell you, catch the frickin' ball. And that you can't. I mean, that one, in his defense, he's probably hearing footsteps. He's trying to catch the ball. He's trying to look upfield, but you got to catch it first.
Got to catch it first as it's 2nd and 10 on the 19-yard line, their own 19-yard line. West moving from right to left this time. The handoff, Harrison fakes it off, takes it for himself, pushes up into the middle, and it's 3rd and short.
No, I think he.
But he'll motion for the first down. So
Yeah.
Harrison has just been doing so much work and quite literally carrying this team on his back. So a really well-earned 1st and 10 for the junior quarterback. And now he hopes and sets themselves up for a drive, the first forward motion we've seen in a while.
Yeah, he's their best runner. Tonight, he's by far their best runner.
11:27 to go. 24-10 on the 31-yard line. 1st and 10. Harrison takes the snap, fakes or pumps pass. Runs up the middle past the 45-yard line, gets brought down just past the 50, and it's another 1st and 10 back-to-back first down rushes for the junior.
It's kind of his thinking. Should I throw it out there? He'll just drop it, and I'll just take off.
And there was a lot of defensive players out in that area as well, and the receivers weren't necessarily in the best positions either. So at this point, especially when you're down by 2 scores and you only have so much time left on the clock to go, you have to make decisions, and Harrison knows he can trust his legs, and it worked the first time, it worked then, and it has now worked for a 3rd time, and we'll probably see more of those decisions being made by the leader of the pack.
Well, you've got that big, strong runner at quarterback that allows you, and maybe not today, but maybe in the future, you put in some plays where you run read options, you run a RPO package. So you got some options. West Cabarrus, you're learning some of those things if you didn't already know that.
West Cabarrus is learning, but as for Northwest Cabarrus, they have a pretty daunting task on their schedule next week. They take on J.M. Robinson here at home, so the first 2 weeks are back-to-back home games, and they're up against the juggernaut of J.M. Robinson, number 1 ranked overall for this county's coverage, and trying out some new things, especially when they have such a lead overall.
Yeah, West Cabarrus at home, so it's a home game. Of course, J.M. Robinson not playing today. They're playing in one of those kickoff classic games over in Charlotte. Going to take on Myers Park tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. I think that's at, was it American Legion Stadium? Used to be Memorial Stadium.
Yes. I was going to ask, why is it a mid-Saturday kickoff rather than your traditional Friday night?
Well, they had the Keep Pounding games tonight at Bank of America Stadium. So they had there are 2 games being played. Earlier, Huff and South Point of Rock Hill played earlier this afternoon. And they got 1 game going on tonight, West Charlotte and Grimsley.
The Whirlies. Such a powerhouse team coming out of Greensboro. Have lots of Division I commits that stem from that program.
You ever done a game at Grimsley?
I did last year. I worked 1 game for the Sheer Shot production coverage on My 48. Grimsley smoked whoever they played, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but a great reception made by number 8, Kingston Straw, for West. Moves the down marker as it's 2nd and 4.
Yeah, we did a playoff game up at Grimsley a few years ago. Central Cabarrus was playing Grimsley, and Steve Post from Motor Racing Network and I went up there. We had car trouble. It was quite an adventure. If you ever see Steve, ask Steve about our trip to Greensboro and my old Mercury.
10:53, 2nd and 5. A rush up the right side by Jaden Joseph marks the first down, and this is the first time we've seen multiple first downs come in a row without any additional penalties from either team happening, and it feels like West has started to solve their own problems. It might be a little too late, but with 10:40 to go, they still have a little bit of time on their side.
Yeah, you still got time.
But if you're Northwest, drawing out the clock and trying to burn as much of that as possible with different types of plays is the strategy to be had. So on the 36-yard line, 10:23, 1st and 10. Harrison with the jet. The pass caught low. They'll call it complete. Great work by McCray on the 24-yard line.
The pressure got there just as he threw, and a good catch.
12-yard gain. And McCray finally connecting with Harrison for what feels like for the first time in a long time between him and any of the receivers. Harrison with Joseph on his left hip, 2 receivers on his right, 1 on the left. Joseph gets the handoff, rushes up the middle, and is brought down with a yard gain of 2. 2nd and 8.
Yeah, not much there. They just stacked it up. But you try to keep the defense honest. You got to run it once in a while. You can't throw it every time.
We are down to single-digit numbers remaining, so it's 9:30 remaining on the clock. 2nd and 9, ball on the 22-yard line. Williams on the left, McCray as well. Joseph right back on the left side. Harrison drop steps back, sails it up and over to the middle, just barely gets his fingertips on it. Is Caleb Bryant. Couldn't get a hold of it, but great read. And almost once again another interception for Harrison.
Harrison didn't have time to really hang on to the ball. He had to get rid of it. He was about to get hit, had to throw it over the outstretched hands of a rushing lineman. 3rd down and long now. This is a big play.
3rd and 9. Harrison drop steps back. 2 receivers into the area. Intended pass for McCray, but solid work by Barnett to keep him at bay.
Senior defensive back came around, didn't wrap that back arm around him, just got the hand in front, knock it away. Good defensive play.
Good defensive plays overall, especially because it feels like the West has finally figured things out. But as you said, the front 7 has been just such a barrier and a tough challenge for the Wolverines. 4th and 9, they plan on going for it. Harrison remains out on the field. 3 receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Long pass for McCray, turns around. Couple of extra hands, but just a long pass. Couldn't get a hold of it, and it's a turnover on downs.
Yeah, good coverage. He threw into double coverage. He tried to put it where his man could run to. He's just not able to get it. But Northwest did a good job with the rush. Their rush did not leave any alley for Harrison to take off and run, so he had to throw the football. Got a final score coming in from Troy, North Carolina. Central Cabarrus 16, Montgomery Central 11. Donnie Kiefer's second debut at Central Cabarrus, as Donnie's back as the head coach of the Vikings, is a victorious one. And I believe if I remember correctly from what Jamal Horton wrote in the Independent Tribune today, that's their first season opening win since 2020.
It's a good way to start the season, especially when you've just been starting off on the wrong note time and time again. Gives a feel-good moment. So it's 1st and 10 on their own 22, 9 minutes to be exact remaining in the 4th quarter. Irwin out on the field, has the low snap, hands it off to Troy, rushes up the right side, is met by a group of Wolverines and ultimately brought down on the tackle by number 32, Jackson Mertz.
Now Northwest, their main goal is to hang on to the football, keep the clock running, but you don't want to get too conservative. Find some plays that you can do safely and keep the clock running. if you just hand off up front, those big boys for West Cabarrus will stack it up, and you'll wind up punting the ball, which is not what you want to have happen. But they're going to milk that clock down.
8 seconds remaining on the clock for the snap.
And they may wind up taking a timeout.
And Northwest Cabarrus burns a timeout. 8:11 to go. Second down and 8 yards on the chains. And it's been a solid outing for Northwest, especially to the rocky start that they had. But since that really tough first quarter, they've found their stride and locked down and played fundamental football.
Yeah, they've cleaned it up a lot. They've found a little bit of a running game. They've been able to, find a few big gains in the passing game, and their defense has been solid. They cleaned up those communication errors in the secondary, which could have killed them early.
But just as much as they've had defense solid work overall, they also have had to have those big offensive moments, and McLean and Irwin have connected once and time again, but they also had that big connection between Shane, Lucas, Walker, and Irwin. So a lot of different guys getting in on the fun, but the receivers making the important catches and plays. And you also look at McLean, who had a really timely interception. So Irwin hands off the ball.
They tried that little crisscross again, and West is not quite as aggressive running up the field after, and they not able to run past it. So they tackle for a loss. Now brings up third down.
3rd and 10. With Samuels on the rush.
As we get winded down a late game, there's only one timeout remaining for West Cabarrus, so that's in the Trojans' favor too.
7:37 left to play. 3rd down, 10 to go on the 22-yard line. Samuels on the right side hip. Irwin takes the snap. Pump fakes.
Oh.
Long pass. Caleb Bryant was on the move, chasing after it, but an incomplete pass forces a 4th down, and the punt team comes out.
Well, that's the right play. They picked up the blitz. Decent throw, just a little bit overthrown. Not able to get out there in front. I guess that was Caleb Bryant, the intended receiver, and just never quite got to it. So we got punt formation. 7:24, so still time for West Cabarrus to get back in the scene.
West Cabarrus only has so many more chances, though, as Owen Mack sends that one into the sky, bounces past Sean Williams, as Titus Troy picks it up on the 45-yard line, 35-yard line.
I always like guys to catch the ball. Call fair catch. Just there's 6 or 7 yards. It could have been worse, but that's not terrible. But again, if you think you can't catch it, don't catch it. Don't touch it.
As many yards as they'll let bounce. It's a little less work on their legs, especially because a lot of these starters play both sides of the ball. So 7:24 to go, 1st and 10 on their own 35. West has been forced into 3 consecutive moments of 3 and outs. And Northwest defense has proven themselves to be this iron wall. Harrison takes the snap, tosses to his left side. McCray with the catch, immediately brought down by Barnett for yard gain of 7. So it's 2nd and 3.
They're going to try to go a little bit quicker now. You're running out of time.
Hurry up football has been played a couple of times here, but just as fast as they were able to get snaps off, so did the flags into the air. So Harrison with the snap, steps back, sails the ball quite over the head of Jaden Joseph, who was ready for it, but it was just a little too high for him to reach.
Runaway train headed toward the quarterback. Yeah, Northwest just loaded up on that one and had a man come and got to the quarterback's shoulder. Didn't put an illegal hit on him.
Lots of changes being made as the receivers flip sides, as do the DBs. Harrison Motions for Joseph. High snap again. Harrison has to leap for it. McCray with the diving catch on the 30-yard line. Solid connection, especially after a rocky snap. Harrison runs to the line of scrimmage and wants to play hurry-up football to continue the drive.
I think there may have been miscommunication on that one because somebody let him go right in the middle of the field.
A big play for the Wolverines. Harrison takes the snap, 1st and 10, turns around with a quick snag for Brendan Williams.
It looked like he might have tackled him by the towel.
Whatever it takes on the tackle was Norris.
Norris went for the interception. Fortunate to get the player to the ground that he didn't go to the house.
6:17 to go, 2nd down and 4, ball on the 33-yard line. On the 27-yard line, to be exact. Three receivers to the right, 2 on the left. Harrison steps back. And what appears to be a holding call. Rodriguez Harrison was in the middle of the field. Caleb Bryant on the defensive coverage.
I thought the ball was passed when they made contact, but maybe not. They're gonna call it interference.
I thought it was his pant being grabbed.
Definitely contact. Definitely contact.
One way or another, there was contact, so it's pass interference. And it's 1st and goal presented by Pizza Hut Red Zone. Anytime is a great time for pizza. Order now on at pizzahut.com.
Nice thing about Pizza Hut, you can order anywhere in the world, but our friends at Carolina Pizza Hut sponsor this, and they've got Pizza Huts all over Cabarrus County, over Stanley County, and all across the Carolinas.
1st and 10 on the 14-yard line, 5:54 to go. Harrison takes the snap, rushes through the left side gap, puts a man down, punches into the end zone, and gets the touchdown. The West Wolverines have some dogfight left in them.
Boy, I tell you what, Harrison was not going to be denied. He ran over 2 people.
Harrison has time and time again taken the responsibility of this team and putting it on his shoulders, and that's a big senior leader move, and especially for a player who only had a couple of games last season, earned the starting position for now, has proven his role, especially in this rivalry matchup. So it's 5:49 with a 24-16 score.
Flag on
and
the
a
play.
Flag on the play.
Bettler out on the field to kick.
It'll be against Northwest, so a couple of additional yards added to the kick.
Must have lined up in the neutral zone.
Bettler now has some cushion. Genio will hold. The snap. Bettler up and through the wickets. 24-17, and only one score between these two teams, and things just got interesting, but Northwest has to answer the call with only 5 minutes and some change left on the scoreboard. Utilizing the clock is a really important thing right now.
Well, you challenge your offense to go out, play good, clean, don't make mistakes, make good plays. Don't worry about the big play. Make the simple plays.
Make the simple plays, and they've been able to do that between multiple receivers and also the rushing aspect of it as well. All 3 phases of the game have been really important since that smudge of a start to the first quarter for Northwest.
Now you want to be alive here. Don't get caught napping on this kickoff. I don't know if there's any trickeration out there. We've seen both teams willing to make a trick or two. But you make sure those guys up front know, do not turn and go back until the ball is kicked past you.
So Bettler.
Got a final score coming in. Marvin Ridge 26, Cox Mills 7. That's the final on your Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard.
Bettler will have the kick return. It's Tolliver and Barnett ready to return. The sound of the whistle and the motion of the arms. Bettler with the right foot kick sends it up and into the end zone for the touchback.
So the touchback, a win for the kickoff team, puts it at the 20.
So they're on their own 20-yard line.
You never had the pleasure of doing a game with Soupy. Soupy would have a chaw of tobacco in his mouth, and he would be our color guy. And you could hear every now and then his plastic spit cup would hit the microphone. You'd hear a little click.
How do you earn the nickname Soupy, though?
Well, his Soupy Campbell, so Campbell Soup.
Gotcha.
I think that may have gotten him when he was in the Marines, but Soupy passed away a year ago or something like that. But really, really good friend of students. He was an AP history teacher here at Northwest Cabarrus.
1st and 10 with the snap. Titus Troy gets wrapped up in the defensive battle and brought down, but still gains a couple of yards on the play, about 2 or 3 for the second down.
Yeah, I think Soupy he played football. He's about 140-pound center at Mars Hill. He's from Johnson City, Tennessee, and came over to Mars Hill.
Home of East Tennessee State.
Yep, the Buccaneers got Carolina's quarterback last year, Amari. What's his name? I read the article about him this morning, but he's projected to split time at East Tennessee State.
Titus Troy with a big rush up the middle, gains the first down and then some. Turns that second down into the chain gang, moving up just after the 5-minute mark eclipsed. 4:58 to go and a fresh set of downs in Northwest. Slowly draining this clock as they still remain with the lead, 24-17. As a West player falls to the ground as once again the trainers come out.
A lot of crampage.
It's late in the game.
Yeah.
Hydration. Halftime doesn't help, especially when they get loose and then go into play, and then you have that pause. So understandably so, but seems as if at least to this point everybody's returned back onto the field.
Drink some of that pickle juice.
I could never drink pickle juice
unless
there was something else as a starter, and then that was the chaser. Could not do pickle juice.
They're yelling at the play clock. Play clock goes to 40 is what Coach Mormon says.
So apparently there's a 12-second difference from what we see. 4:52
okay, now we're at 40 on the play clock.
Play clock is at 40.
I guess that's after a dead ball. I don't know. They've been running at 25 most of the night. Now hobbling off to the sideline is the West Cabarrus player, and we'll get ready to go again.
A couple of extra breaks in play have given chances for either of these two coaching staffs to converse with their teams and have a game plan. So it's a fresh 1st and 10, 4:52 to go in this fourth quarter. The Trojans have had the majority of the lead since midway through that second quarter and have not been stopped since.
They were down 10-7, got the tying field goal, and then the defense took charge through the middle portion of this game.
It was 10 unanswered points between halfway through that second quarter and the entirety of the third, with the exception of that punch through by Harrison in the fourth quarter.
They're going to just let that clock go tick, tick, tick.
There's 27 seconds to go as it was reset to 40 like we mentioned earlier. Irwin with Troy on his hip. Receivers in a little tighter. Barnett on his right side. The band fired up for the West. Finally the snap. Irwin with the toss to Troy. Troy punches through a couple of men, brought down exactly at the 40-yard line for a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 with 4 minutes left to go.
Just a little late push there at the end as they continue to play. You worry about getting flagged on something like that.
And for Northwest Cabarrus, there's a lot of things that they figured out. This was a big learning game for them as time starts to tick away for them. But looking ahead to next week with their matchup, there's a lot of takeaways, but still a lot of work to be done. And that's starting right off the gun and not getting inside of their own heads during kickoff.
Yeah, Northwest goes over to Central Cabarrus. It'll be a little different matchup over there at Central. Another solid run. Bring it up 3rd down.
Just handing that ball off to Troy time and time again as 3:18 remains, 3rd down and 6 to go as only 1 yard was gained.
And Concord Kannapolis play next week up at Memorial Stadium in Kannapolis. The battle for the bell. Once upon a time, that was the last game of the season. Now it's the second because of different conferences and scheduling. Concord, though, I think has lost 10 straight.
It's a tough way, especially when you have your big rivalry game at the start of the season rather than the end, as 5 seconds remain on the play clock and
now
another timeout being used.
Well, they ran the play clock all the way down, I think, which is a smart play. Now, get the play you want out there. You're not going to milk any more clock off. You don't want to have to be in a rush. Make a good play here. Get the clock running, get the first down, and then you force West Cabarrus to start thinking about what they might have to do with their last time out.
2:43 left to go, 24-17 in favor of Northwest, who want to put a bow on this home opener of the 2025 season over nearby rivals West Wolverines. The 7A and 5A matchup, and it certainly didn't feel like that with the way that things started off, but the script has been flipped, and the strength of the defense and the cohesion of the offense from the leader, Irwin, in the pocket has been so effective this entire game. And Mark, especially when they only have just under 3 minutes to go, the effectiveness of this team from point A, from the start of the game to now, there's been a lot of overcoming and challenges, and they've really worked well as a unit to get through those.
Oh, absolutely. And you've seen both teams start to find their legs a little bit in this one. Wilkinson Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of high school athletics here in Cabarrus County, one of our sponsors for today's game. And don't forget, hey, go to independenttribune.com for the best local sports coverage. Jamal Horton will have lots for you coming up this weekend. And he had nice previews online today and a good story about Cabarrus County coaches.
Play clock hits 0 and forces the final timeout to be called, as there was miscommunication between Irwin and his coaching staff.
Yeah, coming out of a timeout, you don't want ever have to call a timeout because of confusion.
Not necessarily the right situation, but
you still have one timeout. The clock was already stopped, so it didn't hurt you there.
So either team with one timeout remaining, 2:43 to go, 3rd down with 6 yards in front of them before changing the chains. And the West student section getting fired up with the cheerleaders.
They've got a big Wolverine flag they're waving.
Had their 5 flags spelling out West coming during the pregame.
Now Northwest
and now
is going to
Northwest
get their big,
is matching it.
Their big in flag, and they're going to wave. And
seems like the cheerleaders are into it, but the students not necessarily.
Still
reading.
a bit of a nail biter here.
The snap finally gets to Irwin, and the flag comes up. Irwin loses the ball. He thought he handed it off cleanly, but it'll be stripped out of his hands. 80 was on the move. Zamani Howie got the strip in the recovery for West.
I thought it was dead ball.
The whistles came, and the flags were out around the 35.
They had some trickeration running a reverse, and then when they flipped the ball up, it got knocked loose. Okay, let's see what the flag is.
It'll be a false start against
Oh.
Northwest Cabarrus.
How is a false start not a dead ball?
Someone jumped just a little too late before the initial snap. So that will send the chains backwards.
Well, maybe it wasn't a false start. That's also the signal for illegal procedure. So perhaps there's a procedure, but that's a big turn of events.
Either way, it's 1st and 10. Ball on the 42-yard line. Harrison drives it inside, and that turnover on downs was so important because now the West, who has possession of the ball, is knocking on the door, and they have just 2:20 to go, and hurry up football is important.
Well, you hate to turn the ball over on trickeration. They ran a reverse, trying to be cute and flip it back and trick everybody. And sometimes you just line up and see it and punch somebody in the mouth.
A timely turnover now makes it 2nd and 5. Harrison with the pass. No one in the area. Great defensive coverage by Caleb Bryant on the receiver. Braden Williams makes this 3rd and 5.
Bryant just got in the way of the receiver so that he could not run to the football.
I thought that was a flag being thrown for a second. That was
yeah,
just a football.
the games on the sideline sometimes will fool you.
3rd and 5 with 1:54 to go as the game clock and play clock are winding down.
You
Three
got
receivers to the right, one to the left on the 21-yard line. High snap. Harrison gets it under control, fumbles the ball, and drops the pass is Williams. And it's 4th and 5. And if you're the West, you have to go for it on this play because there's only so much time to be had, and they also only have one timeout left. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is the moment that Coach Matt Jenkins, who is in his first season of the helm at West for the Wolverines, spends it.
That might have been a fortunate thing for West Cabarrus to stop the clock and drop the pass because he was not going to get much past the line of scrimmage.
The crowd for Northwest is fired up. Harrison takes it for his own, but is met by the front 7 and brought down. Northwest with a big stop. Stops the great moment that the West couldn't not capitalize on. 1:44, and Northwest can taste it.
Yeah, that's a great defensive stand. It was just strength versus strength. Their quarterback's their strongest runner. They tried to get him downhill. Northwest line, like they've done most of the night, just stood straight up.
And it wasn't necessarily one person on that line either. It was all of the men collectively together, combining as one and just forcing themselves forward. What a great read by the defensive coordinator specifically.
Now, it's still not over. You know, there's one timeout left for West Cabarrus. You've got to.
Quick snap by Irwin, and they'll pass it off right to Titus Troy. Man, it's been a lot of yapping.
Yeah.
1:37 to go, but that's how they drained the clock in the last possession until that turnover and the fumbled ball. So they'll go back to that game.
Last timeout for West Cabarrus. Had they not taken that timeout, the next play likely would have been snapped around the 1 minute mark.
Surprised that the timeout is used now rather than right before that 4th and 5, but trust in the quarterback didn't prevail in that 4th attempt. So 1st and 10.
They had been successful with that play recently in the game. They had been able to run the quarterback, but the way they set it up, there wasn't a lot of other options for anything else to happen. And
a lot of it has just been the play breaking up and disassimilating. So he'll find the pockets and use his legs under his own power, hence why he's had these really big gains and the best runner of the night.
You can run if you get things scattered out and find lanes. There's no lane if you just run straight forward, and somebody has got to defeat their man, and nobody did up front.
1:37 to go, 24-17 in favor of Northwest. Troy is able to punch it through just shy of the first down marker. It's 3rd down and 1 to go, and Northwest is so close as this clock is continuing to run after the down.
Oh, they marked that as a first down. That, barring a turnover, will be the end of the ball game. They can snap it one more time and then kill the clock.
So it's 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line.
They're going to victory formation.
Northwest has earned it, especially with the comeback in that second quarter. We're down 10-7, matched the field goal attempt, tying it up going into halftime. And then was able to have a 17-10 lead with a big connection. 10 unanswered points for Northwest is
They're going to have to snap it one more time. There's about a 7-second differential.
So 25 seconds remain, 1st and 10, 15 seconds on the play clock.
No, check it. They won't.
And they
that's
won't
gonna
do
be the
it.
ball game.
He'll take the knee, so Irwin leads his team to victory. And both teams retreat to either sideline. And that will be the final from Kannapolis. Northwest prevails over West Cabarrus County, 24-17, your final score. And such a great opening game for Northwest, but both teams have a lot to work on heading into week 2.
Oh, absolutely. Both teams learned a few things about themselves. But if you're Northwest, you won the game, but there's a lot of teachable moments. You got to figure out that communication in the secondary. You've got to figure out a few other things. If you're West Cabarrus, you talk to your receivers and say, listen, we catch the football. We had a chance to win this football game. They did not catch the football. 3 or 4 drops in just wide open situations. So you're disappointed if you're West. You're thrilled if you're Northwest Cabarrus. But nobody's season is over. There's plenty more football to go. Next week, we got lots of games coming up. Let's run down the schedule real quick before we get off the air here at Northwest Cabarrus. As we mentioned, Concord at Kannapolis, a battle for the belt next Friday night up at Memorial Stadium. Northwest Cabarrus going to be on the road next week as they go to Central Cabarrus. We'll likely have a crew there. We'll figure out over the weekend who we're going to send where. But Northwest Cabarrus at Central Cabarrus. Jesse Carson goes down to Mount Pleasant for a big game. Of course, Daniel Crosby, the Mount Pleasant coach, was the head coach up at Carson before he came to Mount Pleasant. Rocky River, Kenneth McClamrock's team, one of the assistant coaches for Concord for a long time and a head coach over at Central Cabarrus for a while, is bringing his Rocky River Ravens to Cox Mill. And J.M. Robinson going to be at West Cabarrus next week. That's going to be another one of those county rivalry games against West Cabarrus at home. J.M. Robinson still got a game to play this week. Myers Park and J.M. Robinson playing over at American Legion Stadium. But final comments, Claire, before we head out of here today.
Interesting way to start things off with the game and with a bang necessarily for West, but once they had that confidence shaken by that defense, it was Northwest's game from that point on, and that's really what set the tone was the defensive line. And if your defense is able to match what the offense is outputting, that's exactly what it takes to win football games, and all 3 phases working in unison, especially by standout McLean. He just did so much work this evening and is the stud player to watch this entire season for what is set to be a great year for him.
Good punt returns, good receptions, made a couple of big plays in the open field on defense. And
touchdown and an interception.
Absolutely. So we saw Samuels running the ball well for Northwest Cabarrus. We saw Harrison play well in stretches. Got to get a couple of his guys on board with him. But a lot to look forward for both these teams, Northwest and West Cabarrus. Well, final comments before we get out of here, and I'll give you our sponsors.
Our sponsors, Pizza Hut.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got Pizza Hut. We've got Ben Winet.
Ben Minot.
Minot.
Yeah, Ben Minot.
So close. We have the Christmas show. We have the Renaissance Fair, and so many more.
Yeah. Nice broadcast brought to you by BenMinot.com, home of the limited lifetime warranty covering engines, transmissions, and drive systems. Pizza Hut, PizzaHut.com. Your hometown drugstore is Cannon Pharmacy, CannonPharmacies.com. Our friends over at Wilkinson Funeral Home, proud sponsors of Cabarrus County Athletics. Cabarrus County's newspaper, IndependentTribune.com. I work for them, I still can't even say it. Also, the Carolina Renaissance Festival. That'll be coming up first weekend, October 4th and 5th. And mark your calendars, the Southern Christmas Show, November 13th through the 23rd at the Park Expo Center. Claire, great job tonight. We'll be back in the booth next week, and we'll see who we've got where, and we'll let you know by the first of the week where our broadcasts are going to be. But again, looks like we've got a score coming in as Mount Pleasant has come from behind to beat Concord. Tigers 27, Spiders 16 on your Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard. That score coming to us all the way from Los Angeles, California. John Von Cannon, appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for sending us that score. Again, the final score here is Northwest Cabarrus 24, West Cabarrus 17. You've been listening. This broadcast produced by 485 Sports Radio Free Cabarrus.